No,
Remember that?
dude, I'm just about to start.
Okay.
No, well, I'm actually starting now, so I'm streaming now, but it's just my voice, me telling you to stop. So imagine this stopped, and we're start. Okay, I'll just go. See, that was kind of the intro. It didn't really work out as well as I'd hoped.
I'm sorry, Robin.
Hello there, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
You're all
I'm doing
coming
well.
in now. Good evening, Sophie.
It's a great day for the nation and the world.
How's everyone feeling? You can speak. So we got Drew. We got Habib.
Yep.
Habib.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
How am I feeling? I'm feeling I'm good. How are you?
Good. Awesome. Fantastic.
Small talk over.
I too am feeling good. Yes, indeed.
So has anybody been
I'm
sort of like keeping up with this Senate impeachment trial?
I tried and I stopped watching it. I was literally like had it with the thing in my ear for like a day and then another day and then I just took it out because it was too boring. I'm very disappointed, first of all, in the lack of protesters. There was one in the entire thing and I missed it. And it was a anti-impeachment person. So there needs the activist crowd needs to get their shit together, first of all. But there haven't even been any real news stories out of it. They're just giving their arguments, and the only thing I guess is that some senators are actually ducking out early. You know, they're leaving like an hour or two to get on Fox or to go on NBC to give their little hits to the media, or they're falling asleep because they're giving 12-hour long presentations that are boring. And I think Jamie's telling me that Rand Paul was throwing paper airplanes.
You're fucking kidding me.
Making them anyway. I don't know about actually throwing it, but it's not a serious proceeding, is my point. And it's not being taken seriously by the members on, I would say, either side, because, you know, all the Democrats can do during the recesses is go give their own, you know, hits to the TV cameras too. That's in their bloodstream. That's all they know how to do. So I'm bored. I'm irritated, and I had to create a game for myself, which was tune in to the impeachment vote, whatever it was about, guess that it would go down 53-47 with zero context about what the 6 hours of debate that had presaged it, and then be proven correct just about every single time. You have to make your own fun when the world is a garbage fire. So that's my report on impeachment. I hope you find it helpful for your show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Nah.
Nah.
I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, from what I've heard, it's just been essentially blocking of witnesses and evidence.
And then complaining about the lack of witnesses and evidence.
They could still decide to vote for witnesses and or evidence, but they so far have denied the Democrats' requests to do so.
It's like, why are you punching yourself in the face? Why are you punching yourself in the face? It's like that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's like, do you want witnesses? Yeah, tough. We should get witnesses. Yeah, I agree. Well, we're not. It's like that.
Yeah.
They're literally goading them, kind of going, where's your witnesses? Huh? Should have got that beforehand. Huh? And it's like, even Trump's going on there and kind of going, yeah, we've got all the evidence to basically convict me, but we're not handing it over.
And of course, the Trump base says, yeah, show them. It's like, aren't you guys the party that's supposed to care about the rule of law?
No, they're not. But they never were. That was the thing. They only cared about the rule of law as long... I mean, if you can imagine, most of this rule of law stuff is them making up conspiracy theories and following those to their ridiculous conclusions. I mean, as far as like the whole thing with Hillary is concerned, you know, like a Republican-backed inquiry went into it. They found nothing. And nobody's saying anything about it because there was nothing to find. She's, as they would say, exonerated. Total silence. These aren't people that really actually are
It's the deep state.
friends
Robin,
of the truth. I would consider them estranged relatives of the truth. At this point, really, deadbeat dads of the truth.
Yeah. It's part of Donald Trump's deep state that Donald Trump will, drain out of the swamp.
Maybe he's like a reverse Anakin Skywalker. This is what he's doing. What he's doing is he's bringing all the corruption out, like squeezing a zit.
No spoilers.
And
all
it's
right?
just gonna hit the mirror in front of us. And whilst everyone's dragging Donald in chains off to prison, he's like, "See, I told you." And every one of us kind of going, "Oh, I get it now."
If only we
nice
listened.
one. Yeah, and then history will be a huge judge on it, and it'll be like kind of going, "Yeah, he saved us all."
Yep.
I just didn't realise.
Yeah.
Is that what
that
you
can
hope?
happen anytime.
Can it happen now, please?
Yeah, can it? Yeah, now would be. It's great for that face turn to happen.
Right now, any chance?
Yeah.
Please.
I'm happy. I was really freaked out actually that the gun rights rally was gonna kick off and be a thing, but it wasn't. So that's very good.
Were you expecting it to kick off and be a thing?
Yeah, I kind of was, but
Right, how?
glad it was.
It's just a bunch of fucking First Amendmenters. All they do is stand there, like locked and loaded.
Yeah,
And that's about it. That's all they ever get done.
yeah. Well, I was the worry was that someone would
Somebody would drop a
troublemaker.
firecracker, and they'd all suddenly reach for
infiltrate,
their
kick off
sidearm.
Exactly. Yeah. Didn't happen though, so that's wonderful.
You're kind of disappointed, I feel.
No,
Yeah, a little.
I mean, I
was kind of
do have
hoping for a bit of a
look,
showdown,
I do have a certain love of spectacle, but we've got enough of it.
You
as
are
is. We don't
American,
need
so
more.
it is understood. You need
Yeah.
fireworks at least
Big
once a year.
Right. So they're actually. I guess someone was telling me about like drone fireworks in China, where they actually like program, them to like do light patterns and move around in the skies and do like lasers.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know that I like it.
What do you mean? Why?
Well, first of all, without sound, it's not nearly as fun for me. But also,
Well, yeah, but just because you're not included in this particular thing doesn't mean that the
Right.
rest of us have to cut off our enjoyment.
I'm afraid that is incorrect, my friend.
Well, here's the thing. Like I've seen one of them. Like they did a couple of shows like that here. There is sound because they're synchronized to music. So instead of just like hearing the fireworks just going bang, 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 you just actually hear music, and the whole thing is like this 3D sculpture that keeps morphing into different shapes in the sky. It's kind of nice.
And you just have to see a glowing blob in front of you, and I'm sorry about that. And maybe they should put some sort of special sound effects on there just for your benefit, just to wind everybody else up, but that's not the case.
Oh yeah, I test drove a Tesla like a couple of months ago.
Oh.
And it kinda, yeah, it's one of those things. They called me up. They're like, "Hey, we're just driving this Model 3," and I was like, "Yeah, fine, whatever." And when you mentioned sound, yeah, that was one of the things that kind of tricked me. Like I sat on the chair and I was like, "Okay, just turn the car on." Pressed on, and waited. I was like, "Is it on?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's on." I'm like, "Okay." Like, there's no sound. This car's so silent. It's weird. It's a weird car to drive.
But it's got a lot of poke.
Yeah, the acceleration takes a little bit to get used to, and it's even the deceleration. Like when you take your foot off the gas, like it slows down much faster than you expect it to because, it's weird. It's a weird car. It's a joy to drive, though.
Well, I suppose you don't really have any revs to worry about, do you? So.
No, you don't. You don't have any gear shifts as well, and like even the braking is handled mostly by the motors, just reverse rotating instead of brake pads. So even braking is more silent and smoother. But yeah, I can't afford a car like that. I just. Well, I do. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, if I go back to driving, I might invest in. I'm going to invest in an EV for sure, but maybe not a Tesla. Not necessarily, but definitely an EV.
Okay, Plague Incorporated is now getting crossed in hashtag wise with the coronavirus.
Oh no.
That was obviously that was going to happen eventually. So yeah, and now people are putting. Corona used to be like a kind of drinks manufacturer in the UK, so there's all that going on there as well. So yeah, we're all going to die, everyone. Apparently, the global situation as of today, we have 2 suspected cases in Finland, 1 in Sweden. So far, anybody who's actually got over to the UK has been quarantined. There's about 2,000 people who have come over, so they've not actually been allowed to even leave that area. That's how bad we're doing it. There's 2 cases in Paris, 1 in Bordeaux, a couple of suspected ones in Spain. The US has 3 cases confirmed in Washington and Chicago, 50 cases suspected in various other parts of there, but confirmed cases in Washington.
So is it true? I saw but did not confirm that, I didn't track it down, that the province where the virus was
Wuhan, yes,
was had a laboratory for the study of infectious diseases.
Oh god, it's not one of those stories, is it?
I don't.
Oh
I'm
god,
just,
that's so fucking
not-
cliche, man.
I'm not saying it's like.
Are we gonna
that they
die from a
did it on
fucking
purpose.
cliche?
I'm saying that
Jesus Christ.
It's always a cliche.
Oh,
Cliche,
man.
Okay, you want to go down that rabbit hole? Let me tell you something. Have you heard about xenobots? No, I'm being serious now. Like xenobots, they just developed a 3D printed AI-driven new organism. They actually did it. Like it was the University of Vermont, and they called it xenobots. Basically, they just had like a deep learning AI, help them come up with a new organism that can swim in a bloodstream and it can survive for like 10 days. They manufactured it piece by piece by using like some frog DNA, and they
It's
just
always the
manufactured
frog
cells
DNA.
out
Oh,
of
that's like
nothing.
fucking Jurassic Park, isn't it? Jesus.
Oh yeah, it is. It's amazing, and yeah, they wanted, like, they're now looking into developing this thing a little further to carry medicine in people's bloodstream to cure different diseases. So if you want to go down that path of like, oh, umbrella corporation sort of thing, making a virus out of nothing, xenobots.
Here we go, yeah.
We're already halfway there.
Yeah, we've
I'm
got.
just saying that it's an out, like something got out accidentally. Or
As
something.
far as the Asian side of things, we've got 1,300 people infected, 237 in critical condition, 41 deaths, 18 cities in quarantine, or 56 million people are confined in China. In Nepal, 1 confirmed case. So they're obviously treating it slightly differently. Japan, 3 confirmed cases. South Korea's, there's 2. There's 3 in Taiwan, 2 in Vietnam, 3 in Malaysia, 3 in Singapore. Australia has got 1 confirmed case in Melbourne, 2 suspected in Sydney, another 11 other suspected cases across the country. So, yeah.
That's
It's a good
a
start.
lot of places.
That's a good start for, what, 7 days? A couple of weeks? Maybe? It's
I'm not
done
that
pretty
worried,
well.
to be honest. Like the last time we had a coronavirus like epidemic was what, 8 years ago, 9 years ago? It all came and went.
So you're not holding out a lot of hope that Dustin is finally going to get his wish, and the whole human race is gonna die.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's one of those seasonal flu kind of things. Like, it's
Yeah.
gonna come. It's gonna
Yeah.
kill a few hundred people, maybe thousands. Who knows?
The old, the lame, and the sick, as
Exactly.
it should do.
I don't know, maybe the boomers are gonna finally go away.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, it sucks. Like really, it does.
Boomer's
But,
got to die, mate. Boomer's got to die.
But like in the end of the day, like it's not just the boomers. Like a lot of the victims are kids. But,
Well, they were just
you
gonna
know,
eat. They were just gonna grow up to eat Tide Pods anyway.
And by the time they grow up, they would be glad to be able to afford Tide Pods.
Somebody's just somebody's getting a panic map up, and they reckon that you should be 32 million total deaths by 6 months.
Oh, shut up! No, it's not gonna
Judging from
happen.
the figures, yeah,
Like-
it's the global flu pandemic. If it goes full airborne and lethal, you're talking about 10 million in 3 months, 18 in 4, and yeah.
It happens with every single pandemic where people go like, "Yeah, we're all gonna die. Millions of people are gonna die." And no, we won't.
Well, that's a
It's going to
shame.
be fine. Just, I mean, if you insist, I mean,
Could we
you can
panic a
die
little
if you
bit,
want.
please? We're on a show here. It's important to my guests that they feel upset and that there's no hope for them. Otherwise, they might not think we're telling them the truth.
Well, see, the thing is, like, I don't want to die. Not this year. I have like a few video games I'm looking forward to, so I'm just not gonna die yet. Wait until I play Cyberpunk 2077, then I can die.
I think once I've got 4 2080s worth of power in a graphics card, I'll be like, yeah, I can have a flu now. That'll be me good.
Dude, if I could like send you a card just like mine, the 2080 Ti, you would love this thing. Oh, you would love this thing.
I'll hang in. You never know. Might be something on the horizon. They seem new.
Well, I mean-
They're not that new now. It's been a while.
No, it's been a year and a half, and the 30XX series, whatever they're gonna call it, there are rumors flying around of what they're gonna do with it, and it seems that they are preempting whatever AMD is doing with Big Navi. That's what they're codenaming the new GPUs. So yeah, they'll blow my GPU out of the water, for sure.
I hope so. I hope ATI have scared the shit out of them, and they're going to go like balls to the wall with something. And it's going to be like a GeForce 3, like 4 years ahead of its time, that sort of thing.
Well, the thing is, Nvidia is already in a very, very comfy spot.
But they basically, the thing is that you've seen what's come out with the Threadrippers and whatnot, and it's just smashed Intel to pieces in a lot of scenarios.
I'm not really that impressed with AMD's CPUs either. I mean, I remember the FX, and when it first came out, it was like, oh no, we've got like 6 cores in a CPU, and 3 years later, that entire platform just withered and died as soon as the CUDA, what was it, the Duo that destroyed it?
Yeah, like I said, we'll see, because they've had time to adapt, and they've really sort of sat on their fingers a bit, really, for this one.
Well, yeah, Intel had, I mean, you know that those queues, when it comes to those CPUs, they take time to develop. So if they don't come up with anything by 2021, then yeah, I would say that they're in trouble.
Okay.
But whatever answer that they had, or would have for that, would have, like, they would have had to work on it beginning 2018. So it would come out to 2021. For now, when I look at my use for my PC, there's nothing that I need an AMD for anyway. And besides, I would love AMD to succeed and actually do something worthwhile. I would love to have their Threadripper and their Zen platforms.
Yeah, I'm hoping
survive.
it's going to scare the shit out of Nvidia and Intel to actually, dig out something really amazing, because it's just been really flat,
Yeah, I don't. I think they got Nvidia. They got Apple. Not Apple. They scared Intel already, especially when it comes to the mobile market. A lot of laptops now are being developed and sold with AMD CPUs, which was the bread and butter of Intel. Intel still has the enterprise sector though. I mean, yeah, the AMD can go like, yeah, Threadripper, and not the Threadripper, the Epic platform is where it is. But let's face it, like a lot of servers, they don't really care about the price tag, they care about longevity. And Epic, as much as I love their server platform, it's not time tested yet, and that's what server and data centers care for.
Oh, I want one. I want one for processing. That would just be ridiculous for me. It would just be so much handier.
Oh, you mean an epic one? Or
Yeah,
Threadripper?
just having that amount of CPUs to be able to just sort of throw around with it would just be so much better.
I mean, you would get a
64
board and
threads,
stick
dude.
like. No. You're talking about the Threadripper. No, the epic one. Like a lot of the boards I've seen have like 3 or 4 sockets for CPUs, and each one of them has like 32 cores.
Yeah.
And what they excel at is they're pretty much challenging the Xeon. It's the only thing that AMD has that can interface with ECC memory.
It's all about the fucking threads, man. 64 threads? Yeah. Yeah, I want that. That's what it's all about for me.
I
want 400 and I want thousands of threads. That's what I want. I want to be able to do my ray tracing sort of like literally live.
All right.
And
Nah,
also
not for me.
if you do voxel animations, so if you're using like doing smoke and stuff like that, multi-core is just so necessary.
I've been using this PC since November now, and there are only like 3 times where I used all the cores. And that was when I rendered a few test videos with Premiere. The loading screen of Tomb Raider uses all the cores for some reason, but that's good. And the third time was during Windows installation for some reason. Like it just used all the cores. Like, yeah, we're just gonna install as fast as possible. Just like fire them all up.
Well, they generally run them all at the same time, you know, one after the other.
Not
talking-
necessarily. Usually, like with the FX processors, it would benefit to have optimized applications that would use all of the cores at the same time. But that doesn't happen. So what AMD decided to do in their latest architecture is they only had 2 threads, like doing that particular operation-based sort of architecture, and they're a lot faster. They're on par with like Intel, and they're cheaper too. So might as well get AMD right now.
Oh, I'm happy with my 9900K. I consider 3900 maybe?
I mean, 9900K, that's like top of the line there.
It's not really. You've got 9970 XE, which is the top of the line, or you can go to up to like 16 cores from Intel, and that's like what, $3,000. I can't afford that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you can get much higher than 9900K, and for a $500 CPU, the AMD equivalent was the 3900X or X3900, and when I compare the both of them with all the benchmarks of the stuff that I use, no, I mean the only thing I would benefit from AMD would be some Premiere renders, but that's not counting for QuickSync. If I enable QuickSync, which uses the GPU embedded in my CPU, pretty much the iGPU, I get double the speed, and it beats AMD. So again, I'm back at square one. Like I don't need AMD at all.
Now, I just want to point something out to everybody, by the way, because everyone keeps on pointing this out about the United States Space Force.
Oh, that thing.
Okay. It's, if you look underneath, it says Department of the Air Force. All this is a renaming of the United States Air Force Space Command.
And turn it into Starfleet for some reason.
That is all.
It's not a big deal. It's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. I mean, the space program in the US has always had a very, very close relationship with the military anyway. So people are acting like it's a new thing now. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, and
No.
Trump has decided to create a logo that looks like the Starfleet logo.
No,
for
it's
some-
the space. No, dudes. That's
What?
the Space Command logo.
Oh, did they come with a first?
Go and have a look at U.S. Air Force Space Command.
Alright.
This has been around since the 1980s. Notice anything?
Like, yeah, I mean, I looked at the thing on Twitter. People were just berging about it, and I was like, I don't care.
This is not a 6th branch. of the military. It's a department of the Air Force. It literally says it underneath. So there's people making hay. There's people not making hay. There's people laughing at the camo. Which is a bit silly, really, isn't it? Because most of the people in the Space Force are going to be wearing suits.
Camouflage.
Speaking of space, there is a possibility that Betelgeuse exploded.
Do we know?
We don't. We just know that there are very, very.
I know it's been dimming for a while.
It's not the dimming. Gravity, a gravity wave readings coming from there. Very strong gravity wave. It's not going. I mean, if it's going supernova, we still see it in the sky, but there's something happening there.
You're going to have to explain some astronomy for me here. Is Betelgeuse a planet or a sun? I'm assuming a sun, since it's a supernova.
Well, all stars are suns, so relax. That makes it easier for you.
Betelgeuse is the third largest star that we know in the observable universe, that we know of so far.
But for anybody who wants to know what that is, it's basically the armpit of Orion. So you've got the three sort of for the belt of Orion. Then you have the four either side. To the top left, that's Betelgeuse.
Mm-hmm. And it's been dimming for a while now. We observed some dimming.
I see.
But for the past few, I think it was last week when we had a few very strong gravity waves coming from there. And now every telescope that. I mean, not everyone, but most of the telescopes looking at the night sky are pointed at that because it's like, is this going to disappear? We don't know. But those readings are not comforting. And yeah, we might observe a supernova real time.
Wow.
It should be about as bright as the moon, if not a little brighter, and it'll be going for about a month.
How powerful are these telescopes, though? Because, I'm just saying, with the length that it takes for light to reach a Centaurus or a telescope, it could be gone by now.
Well, it will have been gone by now, of course.
Okay.
It's millions of light years
it would have
away.
been gone. Now, the thing is, we don't really know how gravity waves actually travel. Do they travel the speed of light, or they travel instantaneously?
No, they
probably will.
No, they wouldn't, mate. They travel at the speed of light. Of course they do. That's the speed of light is not just the speed of light; it's the speed of causality.
Yeah, but when it comes to gravity, it's one of those.
Gravity is a form of causality. If that were to happen, then we would be wobbling like a motherfucker from all of the.
Yeah, but that's not how gravity waves work. Actually, nobody even knows how they work because they might travel at the speed of the expanse of the universe. That's also a possibility.
Well,
which is, by the way, faster than the speed of light.
Well, no, nothing's traveling at the speed of light. Just different relative parts are traveling away at the speed of light.
It's not about traveling, because when you say traveling, it's like moving from point A to point B while making sure that you make all the stops from point A to point B on a straight line. But it's about just originating from there and being felt here. It doesn't mean that it's traveled per se. It's just detected.
Thing is,
but yes, gravity's already been measured to be traveling at the speed of light.
Thing is, if Betelgeuse does suddenly go supernova, surely that's going to be an amazing thing to study.
That's gonna be like the thing that almost everybody in this on this planet, most people who have ever lived and died will have never seen.
The gravitational wave is invisible yet incredibly fast ripple in space. Gravitational waves travel at the speed of light.
This is why it's called C, because it's causality. The speed of light in a vacuum, there's no such thing as the speed of light. Light never travels that fast because it's always traveling through something. Even space isn't a full vacuum. So
I know that the speed of light is the limit of the galaxy. I'm just saying that you could detect something before it can travel to you. Because, again, when it comes to gravity waves, and this is not, by the way, this is not something that I claim to be an expert on, and I just watched a couple of lectures about it, is that yes, you can detect it even though it shouldn't be here yet, because it's not about being, detection can go a little bit faster than the speed of light or something like that. You can detect it before it gets here, kind of thing. Something to do with quantum physics.
All I'm thinking is
Not an expert.
if Thunderfoot is listening right now, he's probably tearing his hair out over people saying things that's wrong.
I know. I don't claim to be an expert. I'll be honest with you. I don't claim to be an expert at all.
I do claim he's not an expert.
I claim he's not an expert.
Now, I know what you mean about gravitational waves maybe being sort of slowed, or at least dephased, I suppose, if you will.
No, it's the question like because the lecture that I listened to is all about how some scientists are thinking like, hey, these gravitational waves could mean that Betelgeuse has gone supernova, yet we still see it in the night sky. And someone was trying to sort of say, yeah, that's still a possibility that we detect those gravitational waves that would mean that it's gone supernova before it actually we can see it.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
supernova.
Well, we're only going to be able to see light coming from it, and that's basically a big fuzzy blur as it is. You don't see a star and see a lovely sort of like round spherical thing. Otherwise, you'd be able to spot the planets. No, you just have like about 4 pixels of blob. So it's not very well resolved. So you don't really get that much data out of it, apart from it basically dimming or whatever.
So took a lot of effort just to be able to see that black hole.
Well, from what I understand, it's come down from almost half of its magnitude at this point over the last 80 or so days. So it's very, very low indeed, which does put it in a place that it could actually drop completely off. Yeah,
there's a podcast that I need to listen to by a sci-fi writer. He was interviewing some astronomers. Sorry.
Oh, God.
And they were talking about not astrology. Sorry.
There is a big difference between those two. It's like alchemist and chemist.
I know.
And if you believe in astrology, you're banned from the open now.
But the topic was disappearing stars, and yeah, they've been observing a few stars that's just poofed out of the night sky during the past 40 to 50 years. And I would love to listen to that if I had like 2 hours to spare. But I've been just glued to Twin Peaks, so I'm not watching anything else.
Wow. You can't listen to something impressive because of Twin Peaks.
Because, listen, dude, I've had Twin Peaks on my bucket list or my backlog for the past, I think, 20 years. I finally got around to watching it, and I just can't stop.
All right. Well, I've never seen it.
So yeah, everyone's looking into this right now. Yeah, everyone's talking about the dimming. That's the big thing.
It does sound like it's going to be really, like I said, it does sound like it's going to be an interesting study. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, if you want something that is like completely going to blow your mind, try researching Tabby Star.
Okay, which is?
Oh, Tabby Star. Now, do you know how we detect planets or exoplanets in stars, like distant stars? We look at the dipping of the light spectrum. And if it goes into different like sort of periodical dimmings, we kind of conclude that there's something that goes around that star that causes the dipping. And reading that light spectrum, we can just determine what kind of planet that is, what's the composition and everything. Now this star has had like the weirdest patterns of dippings, but they're all periodical, and it seems to be caused by a swarm of some sort. And it keeps getting larger and larger, and we're just like, wait, this is not like what's happening with Betelgeuse, where the entire star is dipping. No, this is something that's surrounding that star, kind of like a cloud, but it has a pattern to it, and we just don't understand. And we kept like, for the past, I think, few years, they had every single explanation, natural explanation, thrown at that thing, and it failed. And the only one that's, well, one of the few ones that are still remaining on the table is it could be an alien megastructure.
Nah.
Have they gone for alien? Have they used alien invasion yet?
Dude,
I mean, they said
seriously, like that is a serious thing that's been studied now. Like, it might be an actual megastructure.
I personally think the whole sort of Dyson sphere megastructure thing is just such bollocks. It really is such bollocks. And the reasoning being is this. Right now, yeah, we're just about getting ourselves together where we can make a fusion reactor. But we don't have nearly the technology to be able to make material science that could sort of float solar panels around a fucking great star. It's just ridiculous. The idea
we don't have the tech to do it?
No, we don't. You wouldn't be able to make such a superstructure. Just be impossible. You just don't have the materials.
The tech is there. Tech is there. We just need
don't.
material.
We don't have the technology. Is the important phrase.
No, what I'm saying is that the idea of us needing. I mean, it's a bit like a 20th century sort of solution using 21st century or 22nd century tech. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make a giant solar panel. Why? You've got fusion power. Shut the fuck up. You just collect some fucking hydrogen, squeeze it together, and boom. You've got your fucking energy. What are you talking about? Why would you bother?
In other news this week, the Doomsday Clock has been moved to 100 minutes till midnight.
Yay!
Who cares? Guess what?
No,
No.
It's seconds to midnight.
Oh, seconds till midnight. Excuse me. Thank you.
Fucking.
You're right. Excuse me.
I guess, Bakura, I have some breaking news. Since then, 2 days have passed, and the world is still here. So I don't really know what that means exactly.
It basically is. It's an indicator that people use to say how close we are to basically blowing up our own
What
planet.
people?
Very clever people.
Yes, thank
Essentially.
you.
Smart asses.
It's a combination of
Clever, then
scientists,
why don't they sing the word
geopoliticians,
themselves?
scientists, political analysts, economists. That's the word I was looking for,
Basically,
thinking.
people who are noticing how much nuclear weapons there are in Iran, people noticing the climate disaster, everyone who's examining everything that could possibly kill us.
The people making money off of conflict. Yeah, gotcha.
My God.
Oh no, we have a lot of conflict.
It's not a group of people who make money out of anything. They don't make money out of saying the world's about to end. But they also look at the political status, there's a certain orange blimp who's getting, I'm sorry, but I've watched quite a bit of that. I am sorry I watched this. I could have done so much better things with my life. But I watched with askance as the arguments against Trump were put, and they're pretty compelling. The arguments supporting Trump were, he's not an Shift said something horrible, so I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. Even if he did something wrong, it doesn't matter because it's Donald Trump. Yeah. He can do. He has the power. We know what it says in the Constitution, that he doesn't have the power to do anything, and that the Senate has, and how the process works for a trial and all that. But we don't agree with it, so we're ignoring it this time.
Right, and in the church comments, Vash is debating Zargon today, so Trump.
Who cares about bloody Sargon?
Yeah, that's why I said so Trump. You think he's ever gonna actually leave if he's voted out?
Well,
I can answer that. No.
He said a few times,
but he won't.
That because he's been under investigation for so long, that his first period in office doesn't count. So he's looking to stay on after 2024.
Of course he is.
That's not going to happen.
Well, come on, mate.
Don't
Even if he does win the next election and he has another 4 years, and that's how long he's supposed to last for, that when it comes to the next election, there's never going to be a peaceful transition of power, even if it's to a republic.
Yes, there will. There always
because
is.
you know who's going to take over from Donald Trump Senior? Clue in the answer there. Question. Don Boy Jr. is going to stand.
They'll want Ivanka to be the first woman president to rub it in Hillary's face.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
You've got to remember that
Jesus.
there's the politics of spite here. This is why the Liberals went for
I do wonder how
Obama
they move on
first
from
instead of a
after this.
woman. They wanted a black guy. That would really piss off Dad. You know, that's how American
Yeah.
politics works.
Yeah, it's purely spite driven.
Yeah,
This will.
they learned it
Yeah.
from the British.
Yeah.
And aren't we doing well? Hey.
Hey.
Have you Brexited yet?
No, yeah.
No?
We're apparently having
Oh.
a party next Friday.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I've
Happening next Friday.
I've ordered
We're
extra cans of beans.
I feel like
Yeah,
I've heard
sure.
this song and dance before. Is the thing.
Sean, we're not having a party. We're having a punch-up.
No, I'm not going to go. No,
You
we're
know, Sean, it is a Brexit gathering. You know it's going to be a punch-up.
I'm going to go down there and video it, and yes, I'm going to do the line where I say to them, "Do you mind if I video this?" And they go, "Yeah, sure. What are you doing?" I'll say, "I'm just practicing for porn. I just need to get a bunch. I need to get a bunch of cunts in script on my. This should be perfect.
Oh man, they love you.
I know. That's the plan.
You're actually going to say that?
Yeah. I did
wish you
it to.
nothing
I did it
but
to. I did it to a bunch of sort of like UKIP screamers that were coming down to do their little protest. Sort of. They've got like 4 policemen per person. You know.
Is that what happened to your camera lens?
No. That was something else. No. Family
I would
squabble.
like to withdraw my previous remark about the punch-up. There is going to be a punch-up. I mean, we've got the Big Ben bongs to look forward to.
No.
Oh no, we haven't, because we couldn't do that, could
Oh,
we?
that was so fucking dumb.
Did you not laugh?
Well, it's just so fucking stupid. They're kind of going, "Look, we're in the middle of getting this thing fixed up. You're not going to have your bongs, all right?" And they're like, "Outrageous!" And it's like, what? It's just an mate. Whoa, hang on. You want us to fix the clock? It's going to take us about 6 months to get it done, and you want that done in 2 weeks? Yes. Well, no. What if I throw half a million pounds? No, what was it? 500? Yeah, 500,000 pounds. And it's like, mate, I don't care how much. Look, 9 women can't make a baby in 1 month. Okay? Think about it for a second. You've got a certain amount of time to be able to do the job. There's only so many days in a week. Do you get it? No?
You can only shove so many people up a tower at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
You can't. A floor will not settle within seconds.
It doesn't
takes
matter if you
time
get-
for
yeah.
concrete to cure.
And it ain't health and safety that's stopping you.
No, I don't know how many of you were of a comedian named Dave Gorman, but he had a TV show for a while, and he did this thing called a found poem, where he looks at certain news articles and he takes the comments from them and just turns them into a poem. And one of the comments, and this was way some time ago when it was announced that they were going to refurbish Big Ben, but everyone was saying, "Oh, it's not going to bong anymore. That's horrible." One person in the comments, commented one article, actually said the answer is simple: just get some deaf construction workers.
More construction workers, yes.
That'll do.
I mean, did you see the what's her name, Mummersby, the UKIP, sorry, the Brexit Party MEP, complaining about the fisheries? Who's going to give? We've lost our say on fisheries. Who's going to look after the interests of British fishermen?
Wow. Oh, but actually,
I mean, there again. I mean, even before we'd left, we decided we were going to leave Europe. Our only representative on that board was a guy called Farage, and out of the 43 meetings he could have attended, he attended 1.
And that was to introduce himself.
Well, that's to sign up so he gets the money.
But actually, in sort of related news, remember that whole EU copyright directive that Brexit was so angry about? Well, turns out the UK's not going to apply it because we're leaving. So, yeah, victory for memes.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna apply it in a much more draconian way. They're just gonna copy it and add rape and torture to it because that's what the Tories do.
Oh, did you see the what was it? Oh bollocks! It's just. Come back to me. It was Brexit again.
What were we talking about? Trump threatening to basically embargo the UK.
There's that. There's Trump. He's going to embargo the UK. He's going to embargo the EU.
He can't.
Because we weren't mean enough to Iran for him.
Jesus.
Although 43 people were injured, they only got brain injuries, so they don't count.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, how embarrassing does the man have to be before he gets voted out?
Well,
It's his supporters you're talking here.
the problem shown is that he has a cult following.
I think you've misspelled the word cult. I think the L's wrong.
Isn't his approval rating kind of abysmally low rates?
Yeah, but
30% or something like that.
Apparently, the last poll I saw, 70% of Americans polled thought Trump should be kicked out of office.
Yeah, there was even one on Fox that hit the 50% mark. And that's Fox News.
And they're not even paying. Well, this is the thing. They're really showing you that you can't trust politicians. They're gonna prove it. You know.
The the legal analyst on Fox News has turned around and said, "I've looked at the evidence, and Trump should be impeached." He said that on Tuesday. And what's his name's something like Napolitana or something like that. It's one of those weird names of Italian.
I mean, he is just a TV lawyer.
Well, yeah, there is that caveat. He is a TV lawyer, but he still has some legal. He's their normal go-to. What do you think about the Democrats? Well, the Democrats have done this illegally. They've done this. This is illegal. So for him to come out and say, well, actually, he should be impeached.
Well, this is the bit where Trump starts to drain the swamp correctly, where, you can hope that basically those who have been following Trump so avidly are now kind of going, yeah, we don't need evidence, or well, hang on, are we the baddies? Do we not like evidence now? Well, are we really doing this? That's what they need.
I mean, yeah, Ben Shapiro obviously going that, the media. Well, I'll just show you the tweet anyway.
So even Ben Shapiro isn't giving himself plausible deniability here. I mean, this is what he said. If I was a right-wing pundit, I would be basically hedging my bets here.
The American people reacting to impeachment versus the media reacting to impeachment. Your gift doesn't make sense, mate. What's this meant to be representing? The people or the media?
It's because the blonde guy is not caring and the girl behind him is really caring about it. So he's saying, the American people don't care about the impeachment. It's just the media. It's like, it's because your guy is getting caught with the jam. Your guy basically killed someone, sent a selfie to the police with him next to the corpse, and you're complaining he's getting arrested.
I understand. I get the meme, but it's completely inaccurate. I mean, one of the reasons they were looking at delaying the trial over the weekend because of the ratings, but all of a sudden the Republicans decided no, we'll go ahead because we know the ratings are going to be lower this weekend, so people won't be bothering to tune in as much to listen to our defense of Donald Trump.
Well, they finished their defense.
The defense, it started today?
Yeah, and it ended today.
Have they finished already?
Yeah.
That quick?
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, I listened to a bit of it, and it was just I'm attacking.
Yeah,
Adam
they just started waving their hands and kind of go, nothing to see here.
No, they're gonna do more. This is just like a preview thing. They didn't do it all day, but they're gonna go back on Monday, I think, and do more.
There was some. I
don't think it's over.
As our American correspondent, Drew,
yes.
You'll of course be completely 100% au fait with all the rules of the Senate and things like that.
I do try to keep up. There are quite a few of them, though. Here's one that I tweeted about the other day. I thought was interesting. Is that apparently only water is allowed on the floor of the House and the Senate. But yeah, milk was recently added in 1965, and the way it happened was the same way that all these sorts of precedents happen, is because somebody some senator wanted one of the pages to fetch him a long, tall glass of milk during lunch, and the parliamentarian ruled that there was nothing in the Senate rules that prevented this from occurring, and so therefore now you can have milk. And so the more you know. But I'm sorry, you had a question.
Yeah, I read somewhere that when the Senate is sitting, no senator is allowed to leave the House. Or leave the chamber, rather.
I don't know.
As far as
if
I
that's a
believe,
thing.
I believe it's during
really-
I believe it's during such trials.
I'll look it up.
I'm not certain on. I mean, I'm glad. Like
So
Robin said,
they don't miss the evidence, so they can't
Uh-huh.
can't fake.
Mhm.
But of course, they're not
knowing.
accepting. Because
Well,
they're not,
no.
they're not
I'll look
accepting.
and see if that's a thing.
Because they're not accepting witnesses. They're not accepting evidence. Obviously, the game is rigged.
Yes, the game is in fact rigged. Though
unfortunately,
they,
and it's defunct. Unfortunately,
you've
missed
well,
out.
none of you fuckers listen, so that's what happens.
Don't call me a fucker.
I apologize.
He doesn't
You're a wonderful man.
I wouldn't go that far.
And Jamie says you're a snappy dresser, so there you go.
I'm sorry, Jamie. You really haven't seen me.
He says, "I'm sorry, you really haven't."
I'm at the moment wearing a baggy.
You're obviously
trash
looking at the wrong
bottoms
picture.
and
Sure
a
you look-
scabby t-shirt.
I'm sure you look very fetching in your old uniform, man.
I don't think I'd fit it.
Sean, you realise you're interrupting Drew right now.
Yeah, we're I don't know about you guys, but we're slightly off topic, I feel.
Okay, I apologize. We were discussing him. Yeah, I don't know about this rule, but I'll look and see if it's a thing. It wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not aware of it.
Well, the reason I mean, I think it's true. I mean, I read that 15 Republican senators had walked out during the hearing, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, a few of them have done that.
And-
Feinstein did too. It's not just the Republicans. Some of the Democrats have also been leaving early to do TV appearances and such. Because they don't need to stay, because they already know they're going to impeach him. So why do they need to hear the evidence? It's the same fucking thing.
I'm trying to think. There was the what's his name?
Do you know how it works when it comes to the voting of this particular thing? If a majority, a fair chunk majority of those sitting vote for anything, then it will get through. So there is one particular way where a Republican politician may or may not save face. And this is to just not bother attending.
That would be interesting.
So if 30 of them just didn't turn up, then the Democrats would suddenly have a majority in there.
Well, they still
to
need
get stuff through. If it gets that bad, because it could get that bad, it really depends. Because I know there's a few of them that are like they were looking to basically kind of go, no, we're not going to give any evidence. We're just going to basically just like completely shutter this down. And even they were saying, dude, we can't do it like that. This is just going to be too much. This is ridiculous. And so there is some wiggle room here. There is a few cracks showing. And the thing is, if it looks that stupid, if it looks that bent, they're probably going to be going back to their constituencies, and they're going to be in a real bad mood.
Well, it was if you don't vote for me, your head will be on a spike. Pike, he said, not spike.
Who said that?
Spike, Donald Trump.
Who said
Oh,
this?
Jesus!
Donald Trump said that
Who
a
said
couple of
this?
nights ago. Are you not listening? Donald Trump said it a couple of nights ago he had a meeting with all the senators. And
Evidence?
Pardon?
Evidence?
It was reported by senators. It's been
Which
leaked.
senators?
Republican senators. I haven't got the actual names listed. Hang on, I shall attempt to Google head on a spike.
Head on a spike it. Let's see what we come up with.
The Queen!
In fact, he said head on a pike, didn't he?
Spike, pike, whatever.
Well, no, there is a difference. Head.
Drew, why are you sending me a link to Fox?
Yeah,
A pike is a weapon. A spike is usually something on.
The spike was the tradition. Right, I mean, I'll go back
Because
to
Fox
history.
is a very respectful
Once-
news gathering organization, Bakura.
Yeah, when you put it on a spike, that was part of the traditional what you did to traitors, you behead them, drag the head through, stick it on a spike.
Okay.
That's
So-
where the pike is a weapon, but the traditional way of dealing with traitors, you displayed their head on a spike. I mean, think of Blackadder, for God's sake. Let's go to historical evidence. Blackadder. There you go.
Where he cut off a guy's head who didn't need to be cut off, and then he had to put a bag on his own head.
Yeah, bag on the head. That's the one. Yeah. I mean,
So-
it used to be you were in York. They were driven from the prison up Micklegate, down the street to the Knavesmire. Knave being an old English word for bad person, mire being marshy, boggy thing. He would then be executed at the Tyburn there. The head would then be carried back and put on Micklegate Bar. On the spike there, on a spike there, when Micklegate being the old Saxon Viking word for main street or big street.
And all the kids can watch.
Bit of history for you there. See, you're gobsmacked.
By the way, Luca, you said something earlier about when I said that we're not going to implement the EU directive on copyright, and you said something about how they'll just ban words like rape.
No. What's gonna happen is that tourists are just gonna copy it, literally just put it in a copy machine, copy the entire text, and just make the punishment much more draconian. Just copyright a whole bunch of shit.
Luca, we're already having a bill going through. It's called the Online Harms Bill.
Ah, okay. So, what are the skeptics on that one? You know.
Yeah. Anyway, but I don't know what specific things are meant to be online harms, but certainly certain words. They have. It's the idea that social media sites will have a duty of care to protect people from online harms, some harassment and racism, and well, just anything MPs don't really like. I mean, even when it got to the House of Lords, who are so obviously very old, so they know everything about technology, and pretty much took every opportunity to decide what they think is an online harm.
So again, also you have the Americans basically now bullying you to put their same draconian copyright laws on the books. So, hey, at least you're gonna get out of the evil dictatorial EU.
Yeah. So interesting. Said before how the age verification laws that did come with are still on the statute, but have decided not to be implemented, and thought that was pretty much going to be the end of it. Funny things happened. 4 of the age verification companies that were created as a result of it are now seeking a judicial review, and what they're trying to do is either get £3 million in compensation or force the government to actually implement it.
What is the I'm sorry. What is it with these bastards? It's a Tory thing. How do I give me mates some extra money? I'll tell you what. We'll produce something. You have a company that will do, and we'll give you the contract, even though you've got no ships. And then when we say, "Oh, it's not going to happen," the company that's got no ships, that's owned by Tories, can sue the government and get money out of the people. Am I just a minor thing? You know.
Yeah. Again, question: why hasn't the UK had its own French Revolution right now?
We're not French.
Yeah, but it's interesting thing about the age verification thing. I mean, like I said, they've got these companies going to this review, but I've been following some of the other stuff. I know one website that actually does dig a bit deeper than some of the mainstream ones are talking. And well, it's very hard to explain everything, but it seems the governments have now pretty much backtracked on age verification in any form of legislation in any way, not just pornography. They seem to be. I mean, even the BBFC have been officially and legally in every way removed as the actual regulator for age verification, which they were initially. But yeah, there's even a current thing called the ICO. It's an existing governing body at the moment.
Ban children from the internet.
Thank you.
Ban children from the internet. It's one or the other. Either we turn the grown-up adult internet into a child-friendly zone, or we get rid of the kids. You don't put a fucking creche in a crack den and expect the crack den to just suddenly just get better.
That's an interesting thing you say, Robin. There's actually a guy named John Carr. I've only seen tangential bits of him, but he's an interesting person. He doesn't like groups like campaign groups like liberty groups, rather like Open Rights Group, and he actually ended one of his blogs with, "The internet will be default safe for 12-year-olds. Deal with it." That's literally how he ended one of his
Yummy.
books. He's that kind of a guy. I thought he was just a guy who really cared about protecting children. Then once I actually found an article he contributed to an anti-porn website, and so I was like, oh, that's your full deal, is it?
You know, it would be funny if all these draconian laws get passed, and then Sagar and Dankira are forced to come to the EU for protection because they can't make their videos anymore in the UK. I would just kick them back. It's like, no, that's your mess. You deal with it.
You have some really weird fantasies, you know that.
Here's a nice. You'll like this.
Why
bloke.
not? Here's a taste of it. Oh, this is
A bizarre fantasy of vengeance.
You supported this draconian shit. You live with it. You can't just move to another country and then expect to be and then bash on that
Yes,
country.
but in order to basically invoke such a law, you'd need to ban other people like who are completely innocent from this. It seems rude.
You'll like this bloke, Derry. He's a really nice lad.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Brexit, Patriot, Derry votes, leave, then legs it to Spain before it gets too difficult to do so.
He's really, really pleasant. You want to hear it? He's I've typed in basically, is it unfair of me to hope that the Spanish turn down his application for residency? And so far I've had 56 likes. God knows why. But there you go.
Actually, I hope they make.
Oh, sorry.
I'd say leave it.
Liked.
I'd say leave it be, mate. Leave it be, mate. I mean, let him be Spain's problem.
No. That's your problem now. We're gonna drag him out with the army and send him back to you. We don't want your trash in our country.
No, Robin.
You let them open up the fish and chip shop. This is what you get.
No. It's not a fish and chip shop. He runs a manicuring salon. He trains manicurists.
Okay.
That's what he does. Trains manicurists.
Okay, and this is germane to the conversation. How?
That's what the man does.
You're the one who mentioned fish and chip shop, Robin.
Right. But no, I wasn't talking about that. I wasn't saying that he was a fish and chip shop owner. At no point did we establish this, right? I'm saying the fact that we've let people open up fish and chip shops down there. That it's too late. It's now English. That was the point. Can you see how the joke works? Right, okay. It's so much funnier now I've explained it.
Only because I didn't know there were fish and chip shops in Spain. Simple as that.
Well, are they?
I need better panelists.
How's it going?
Accuse the fuck out of me, Robin. Fine, if that's the way you feel about it, I'll just
say
leave
something,
right now.
No, honestly, just interrupt them somehow.
Just
get in the way.
No, that person is
It's not my fault to keep inviting these people.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
have to interrupt
it's called
them.
an open house, Robin. I don't know what you're expecting.
Yeah, this is.
You just called the internet a crack den, and then you're surprised when the crack people show up. Come on, man.
I can't believe Habib's dissing me because I like paella. I'm really that hurts. That cuts too
Robin,
quick.
honestly, this is the only quality you're ever going to
Who
get.
doesn't like paella?
Look, I'm concentrating really hard right now, trying to roll up a cigarette, and I can't do it.
Are you pissed again?
Hey, pissed Pascal!
Not even. I don't have an excuse. I have this miserable fucking
Hey, we can finally talk about exposition now.
turd.
But yeah, no, Robert, that person is coming back to the UK. We don't want your riffraff over here, especially those that don't
He's not
Brexit.
yours. He's Spain. Look, I know it's been a while, but just because you're Italian, it doesn't mean you own Europe.
No, the EU doesn't want your shit. All right.
You
can't
don't
keep
talk for the
bashing
EU. You talk for a shitty little corner of it.
Your country's gonna be just as shitty as mine, and mine is in the EU. So you know.
What does that say about your country then?
Dude, I would rather be in the UK when it's outside the EU than be Italian. Just saying.
At any point in time.
Phone a doctor. Phone a doctor. So there was a serious Burns problem there, and I don't mean because it's Robbie Burns' birthday tonight. Just a.
Dude, if I had the choice of if I had only two choices left in my life, go back to Saudi or go to Italy, I'd go back to Saudi.
Wow.
Why exactly?
You just got sand nigged, my nig.
Because it's Italy, man. Why would I go to Italy?
Wow, Robin. this really is the best quality.
Here's how I look at Italy, by the way. Italy is like the souvenir shop of Europe. You don't visit there to just stay there. No, you just go there to buy some gifts and toys, and then leave.
Oh, and work out what the smell is.
Yeah, you go to Venice. Venice is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. But it stinks.
Was.
No, the last time I was there was back in 2005, so it's been a while. But
it's a lovely place to visit if you're Osnobic.
It's actually changed its name.
Which means you can't smell.
Yeah, it's now changed its name to the Lost City of Atlantis.
Yeah, it just like the whole place just stinks. And another thing is like Italian food is one of the only cuisines on earth that tastes better outside of its origin country.
Well, I'm sorry, but I freely admit it's a long time since I've had a pizza over in Italy. About 40 odd years.
Italian food is fish food, really.
But it was really nice.
Yeah,
and admittedly, it was
pizzas, pastas, the calzone, and all that. But, dude, I mean, ever since I moved to Dubai, maybe I've been spoiled with better Italian food than whatever I got in Italy. So,
mate, all you post up a fucking.
Where did you go? Where did you go in Italy? Where did you go?
Maybe. Where did I go in Italy?
Yeah.
I stayed in Venice for a while. I went to Rome for a couple of days.
You went to all the touristy spots?
Yeah, basically I went there and went on a museum sort of run.
Oh, so the food must have been perfect.
Oh, I did. I did go around, you know, most of the touristy places to look for food, and yeah, I mean it was good. I'm not gonna lie, it was good, but I get better pizzas here.
Yeah, but that's the shit they give to the tourists.
Well, still. I mean, even the shit that we give to the tourists here is better than the shit that they give to the tourists over there.
Dubai, you're a bit snobbish, really, the Dubaians, though, when it comes to this sort of thing.
Dude, we have ice cream shops that give you ice cream with saffron on it.
Exactly, you know.
So there you go.
Yeah, but saffron should only be in paella.
In other technological UK news, the London Metropolitan Police are going to be distributing facial recognition software all across London, even though independent reports suggest it falsely identifies people 80% of the time. And which organisation is working to ban facial recognition? The EU.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. I just heard about it a couple of days ago. 8 out of 10, and that's lousy. Even the Facebook facial recognition is better than that.
But like I said, the fact that the EU are actually working to ban facial recognition for the police services.
It doesn't work very well.
It's
too many false
one of those
positives.
things that I.
The teams are hard at work on fixing those bugs as we speak.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter. It's, the thing is about faces is there's only so many patterns that you can recognise from distance.
And apparently, it falsely recognises black people more than anything else.
No, the facial recognition software right now that we use, or mostly used by a lot of governments and law enforcement organizations, is based on an old algorithm that was written back in the 80s. And, you know, just like any sort of like self-taught AI or algorithm, it just keeps building on and on and on. Thing is, that algorithm from the start was never good at detecting anyone who's not white.
But they say, but it works. It's used in China. That's meant to be a positive.
Okay. No, the issue is everyone keeps on saying that this works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work very well at all.
I know.
There are not enough points on a face to make detecting other people. You get too many false positives. Out of 1,000 people, you're going to pick 12 to 15. It won't matter whatever you do. It's the thing is that faces are just the way they are. Now, if you get things down to like picking everyone's paws and like their moles and you know how the texture of their skin is and other points like that, yeah. But right now, it's done on sort of like the placement of the mouths and the eyes, and that can change depending on your like the lighting that you're in. And if you're a black person, of course, that never works out because basically you're now shadow on shadow. So it's very difficult
like
for these things to detect
I think it was what's it called, the crazy clown posse, that the gang in the US with their facial sort of like makeup, they keep tricking those systems. They can never detect it. Post Malone, by the way, his face can never be organized by any facial recognition software at all, and he tested it. It just doesn't work.
The interesting thing about this whole facial recognition software, or rather how it's been implemented or tested, rather, I think it was last year, there was a situation where the police were testing it, and to highlight they were testing it, the police did admit they were testing it. They put signs out saying, if you go down here, you're going past some facial recognition cameras. All I noticed, he decides to put his hood up and cover his face because he doesn't really like this. He gets caught by the police and gets arrested and fined, I think.
He got fined £100, but it wasn't for that. It was because he told them to F off while they were doing it.
Oh, is that the reason it was?
Yeah.
Oh, that was never actually reported.
Isn't that strange?
It was reported in places, but he was actually done for telling the police to fuck off. Which, I mean, you can... If you look at mitigating circumstance, I mean, he wasn't guilty of any crime. He didn't appear on any watch list or any list. He just didn't want to be on camera, which is fair enough. And you can see that, but
yeah. Why would you pull that? That does actually raise a bit of a different point. Like I said, he just didn't want to be on camera. Why the fuck would you just pull a guy over then in the first place? Especially this was a voluntary thing.
Because we live in a society whereby, he doesn't want to be on camera, he must be guilty of something. It's, everybody's guilty of something.
Yeah.
If you sit in a room all day, never going out, you're guilty of loitering. It's the way of society, unfortunately. It's what our wonderful press have made us.
Well, it's not just the press. The thing is, the press is reacting to how people view it. I mean, the reason Fox News is popular is because of all these people who want to have their news, that they want their confirmation bias sort of confirmed.
Yes, but are the press reacting?
It's definitely that.
I'm sorry, I tend to, especially in this country, I tend to think that the press lead. They create the situation.
No, there's enough people who've said to people, fucking hell, mate, what are you reading that shit for? That's just propaganda. And I don't care.
I like Dara's comment here. Now I'm going to wear makeup every day.
I thought you already did.
In response to the facial recognition thing.
So everyone's upset at Joe Rogan at the moment as well for some reason.
What did he do?
No, they're not upset at Joe Rogan. And people are like, no.
Yeah.
So there was two people talking there.
With Joe Rogan.
So Joe Rogan apparently endorsed Bernie, and so all the people that don't like Bernie want Joe Rogan to be a bad person, and everyone that does like Bernie wants to say, Joe's okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now and again.
Not really, no. Like I've been talking to a few of Bernie pros and Bernie supporters, so they were like, "No, he's tainted. Like Joe Rogan is like, you don't want that guy anymore or you don't want their endorsement because of a shady past or some like edgy jokes here and there." And I just like, are you actively trying to have your favorite candidate lose?
Yeah, it's
pushing away.
This is left in a nutshell, But the thing is, this is the problem. Where they kind of say, but we're a big tent, and it's like, well, yeah, we are a big tent, but aren't you just chucking everybody out of the fucking doors all the time?
Yeah, that was
the thing is like.
Somewhat of an empty tent.
Was really weird. Nancy Pelosi's daughter had a thing that was sort of like, you can have him in your tent, but not mine or something. And I was just like, it's the same fucking tent. You're all supposed to be Democrats. What the hell are you what are you doing?
So the Democrats, or rather the left, have to consistently purity test till everyone's pure, whereas the right seem to just decide to back the biggest arsehole as possible because it really pisses off the left.
I mean, there is a bit of, I guess on the subreddit, that's what there was like, if you're on the right, you should vote for Bernie in the primaries to own the left. And that's sort of what what's his face is doing, Hugh Hewitt. And he said he said he'd vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary. Like, I guess it's sort of a Pied Piper strategy, but they're just like, just vote for Bernie. Fine, just do it. Just like they're sort of daring people to run him at this point, which is hysterical.
I'm just kind of sick and tired of watching all these people kind of going, yeah, Warren's a snake, and it's like, yeah, Bernie bros, you all suck, and it's like kind of going, okay, so Trump 2020 then it is.
Yeah, apparently, looking at chat here, Kevin Logan and Christy Winters.
Yeah.
Kevin Logan and Christy Winters are now crying about it because they're all Warren snakes, which they're now wearing as badges. It's really funny.
Could I just point out that that's a quote from Prophet, so it should have a profit warning on it.
Yeah, but this is Kevin Logan and Christy Winters.
I'm sorry, but like
That's
the
another
whole
warning it should have.
snake thing is pretty fucking stupid.
It's not something to get
I mean,
knitted in a
it's-
twist about, is it?
It
Okay,
just goes
Can
to
we just
show
can we
you,
just
like,
get some
the-
chronology for everybody who's listening, because some people actually don't bother paying attention. Last week this was, I believe this was, Warren accused Bernie of making some sort of sexist remark a couple of years ago or something. Anyone?
What was
That's close
like
enough.
what was claimed to be said, which is basically he said, she said at this point.
Yeah.
She said that Bernie told her that a woman cannot win the elections in the U.S. By the way, it's not a sexist statement, even when you take it like that. It's like maybe accusing the U.S. to be a sexist nation, but it's not a sexist statement. And yeah, that was taken way out of context. And even if he said it, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, there isn't.
because,
It's
yes.
realistic. Like, it's backed up by psychology, actually.
No, it's just
So-
like it's basically accusing the nation itself to be sexist and not.
So
Being
yeah,
sexist
CNN
itself.
had this leaked to them coincidentally just before the primary debate was about to kick off. Who then obviously had this leak ready to go as a talking thing to go to Bernie with, and he kind of goes, "I didn't say that."
Yeah, the thing is, like, he supported her. He supported Tulsi Gabbard. Like the guys, like, if he was
Supported Hillary. I mean,
he chose Hillary, for crying out loud. Like, yeah, I just don't get it. Like, the whole thing is just fucking stupid. Now, for the people that are going like, oh no, she's a snake and she's cancelled now, that's just kind of silly. I mean, the whole thing is silly.
it's an entirely media created event that was designed to do exactly what it did, which was divide the Biden Warren camp so that Biden v Trump can be clear what they want.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think that people are really that Machiavellian or clever or anything like that. I think it was just,
Well,
it's
it
like,
could just be
hey,
their love of spectacle.
people are talking about the election. Because, I mean, they've pretty much hit all candidates at this point, right?
Right.
Like, there isn't somebody that's like, you have Klobuchar even with like the jokes that she was telling the same joke over and over again, and they picked up on that. Which, I mean, is a nothing burger, because like you could do that to pretty much any candidate. They're gonna repeat themselves during their trial.
Yeah.
It's just people are looking for things to talk about because it's an election cycle and they want to see reactions from individuals.
Yeah, but the
Like,
whole
it's-
thing was a media source story.
it-
Like, it came from political journalists at the start, and then it was leaked to CNN, and then CNN talks about it on the debate, and then Warren makes a comment that's on a hot mic that CNN gets to air, and then and then Politico gets to do an after action talking about the camps going after each other. Like, that's news. Like, it's a
It's-
whole media
it-
created event that doesn't actually fucking matter to anyone.
Plus, it's America. You always have an election cycle.
Well,
You need
yeah,
to have a
because
shorter election cycle. This shit is not working out.
I beg your pardon.
Trump realized it was a great idea he could make money out of. So that's
Was
why
that somebody who was talking with a British accent talking about an election cycle?
No, it was.
Hey, we're having a bit of a strange a couple of years at the moment. All right, we're going through our midlife crisis.
When's your next election? 2024? What's
No, I don't think the British has any election cycles. They just go like, "Hey, it's the weekend. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Watch a movie, have an election." It depends. Like,
We've decided to have the basically the last sort of like next 2 decades worth of elections. Just sort of squeeze them into this one.
Yeah, mind you, I mean, it's true. I mean, after the referendum, we suddenly had an early general election, and it was kind of after that, like, God, that's a lot of democracy we've had today. I'm kind of sick of all this democracy at the moment. Not used to
The
it.
ironic thing is that since we passed the bill that said all parliaments will now last 5 years unless, we've done unless every time.
oh, sweet.
We haven't had a parliament that lasted 5 years.
We do that over here too, just in a different way. We have, when 9/11 happened, we passed a national emergency, which we have then continued. The president has, like clockwork, continued to sign every year right before it expires. So we have a continuing national emergency that's supposed to only last like 90 days or whatever while you get the shit on track. Has been taking place for like better part of, it's going on 20 years now because it's a convenient fiction legally to allow people to do things that they want to continue to be able to do.
Nice.
It gives the president more powers. Why wouldn't he sign it?
Exactly.
And especially with the megalomaniac you've got at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, but I mean, Obama did it too. Bush, you know.
Oh,
they
yeah.
all
Well,
did it.
and let's be honest. I mean, power
Hang on,
corrupts and absolute. What?
just want to say, Kraut is saying, someone tell Robin his Discord call is open.
But it's not. What are they talking about?
Well, that's Kraut saying this. Kraut saying, someone tell Robin his Discord call is open.
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
Robin, are you cheating on us?
No! I swear to you,
slut!
it's not. I don't know where that's. I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know why I bother. Honestly.
The only person cheating on us at the moment is a certain French-Canadian person who's playing a game, and I can hear the bloody game as he's playing it.
To be honest,
I can chew gum and walk at the same time, buddy.
Yeah, but
At this point, you're doing neither.
we wouldn't be complaining about relationships like this if we were just in a polyamorous one.
Does that mean you love parrots?
No, it's actually.
You want to fuck parrots? You pervert! Oh my god!
This is why people drink.
I don't need to drink.
This is the sort of conversation that you have in pubs. You know that.
No, this is
Wait,
getting a.
Robin, I thought that's what the open house was.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I'm not treating it any more like basically a bar. At that point, really, yeah. The regulars come in, they get drunk, they talk shit, they eye up the barmaid and fuck off home.
Where's John?
Yeah.
What have you done to John?
Okay. I didn't really want to bring this up, but John recently he went on a small holiday to China.
Oh dear. No. Did he have a cold?
And he hasn't come back yet. We don't know where he's gone.
He went to China he went to China with a bit of a sniffle, and now he's basically infected the whole of China with a life-threatening disease. Nice chap.
This is truly the best quality of people you're ever going to get here, Robin.
This is the best we've got, yeah. God help us all.
Oh, does anyone remember the whole swine flu epidemic years ago?
Yeah.
I remember people calling it swan flu, spine flu.
Yeah, my sister had it, actually.
What, swan flu or spine flu?
Swine flu.
Oh, right.
Swine flu.
Actually had it.
Yeah, she actually had it, but look, she survived. Because not many people died from it over here.
Is it H5N7? Off the top of my head?
I don't know. All I remember was she had swine flu.
That was H1N1, but maybe I'm thinking of the.
No, that's a postcode.
Okay. No, I'm thinking of H1Z1, which is the very popular first-person shooter game, horde battle royale game.
I think it's H5N7. And all that is a strain. I mean, that's the trouble with flu. Flu has so many strains. And for those people who don't believe in evolution, flu is a virus that evolves, which is why they have so many different types. It's why when you have a flu jab, it doesn't necessarily work. And for those people who think they get flu from a flu jab, you can't. Just to make it clear for people, it's impossible to get flu from the flu jab. What generally happens is, because people think they can, they psychosomatically have the symptoms.
Well, I remember when the whole swine flu epidemic was going on. Maybe it was just debate, I don't know. But Obama was now elected as president, and I remember he was doing, I want to say a speech, but it was more of a whole stand-up thing. And thing is, Obama, unlike Trump, Obama's good at doing stand-up. And I remember one bit where he was saying how me and Hillary during the primaries we were opposed, but now we couldn't be closer than ever. The day she got back from Mexico, she gave me a big hug and said, "I should go right there myself."
Was that an Obama impression?
No, I wasn't trying to do an impression. I can't do an impression.
All you got to do is slow down.
Obama's best night speech was
Basically,
when he ripped into Donald Trump.
All you got to do, say about 3 words in a sentence, a second and a half after each one. And then
the American people.
There we go. There we go. That's all you got to do.
I've usually taken quite a stance.
It's like a low frequency William Shatner. You know what I mean?
Now some have said I should probably get into music.
Low
like
frequency.
Mr. Shatner.
Slim down version.
No.
And funny.
Well, William Shatner is a bit slower. It's like
William Shatner's
Obama
like the
is
Dark Souls of William Shatner's.
Obama is like
people.
You tell me to try and do an impression of Obama by going slowly and interrupt me whenever I make a pause.
Obama, you don't need a tutorial.
Murder people.
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. If you want Trump to do anything, just tell him Obama.
You know why he talks slow, by the way.
Robin's going for a fag.
Yeah, I'm just thinking who should be in charge.
Who should be?
I put Grant in charge.
Obviously.
It's like
anarchy.
Yeah, all I've got are all of the fat kids to pick from for my football team. Okay, we'll go with Habib. He at least can behave sensibly.
Well, he's not fat.
Or at least pretend to behave sensibly.
He has a stutter.
He's managed to get away with it so far.
Have you gone yet, Robin? Right, Doctor Who.
Apparently so.
No one's allowed to talk about Doctor Who. We talked about this. No Doctor Who.
Fine. Anime.
He has the stutter, by the way. That's why he speaks slowly.
Obama?
Yeah.
Obama.
Everyone knows. So does my stutter. Every time. I try to get certain words.
I think one of the nicest things about Obama is when you see him with his missus, and there is so much affection for each other between the pair of them. And then you look at Trump and his good lady.
Yeah.
And you just think,
Ivanka, she's a great lady. If she was my daughter, I'd
Nancy Altman had a sketch that was funny. They're saying that Melania was like a Russian, like an actual Russian bot, like that needed to be reprogrammed to like smile more and stuff. It was pretty funny.
yeah. Where, I mean, apart from the fact that Michelle Obama is a supremely intelligent woman. If you've ever listened to her and read some of the stuff she's written, she is, I mean, she makes Obama look thick. To be brutally honest, she is so much out. I mean, she should, just a lovely person. You look at the two kids, well-adjusted, nice children.
Can I just point out, Sophie? I think this is when we were talking about what we were going to talk about. Sophie has suggested other than Doctor Who, rhubarb.
No, I will resist. I will not talk about rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
Oh no, stop it.
Rhubarb.
For the older English viewers, I'm busy at the moment thinking of a song that goes which was the theme tune to a kiddies cartoon called Rhubarb and Custard. There you go.
Thank you. I was trying to put that in my trying to figure out. I think I'm way too young to have seen that. Don't think I would have ever seen the repeats of that when I was a kid.
Yeah, we didn't really get a lot of British cartoons here anyway, so I
Well,
don't think
I'm not particularly surprised.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of American stuff though.
Yeah, so do we. We get mostly American stuff over here.
But the British stuff, like we had Doctor Who.
No more Doctor Who. He's back.
I'm trying to think of
Well,
like what
we
kind
weren't
of
talking
British
about that.
shows
We were
had.
talking about rhubarb.
No, it's like
Robin, have a look
Stop.
at the chat, mate.
Stop. Honestly, stop.
Robin,
Don't
just
make
look
me
at the
hate
chat.
you.
You left.
Look
You're
at the
holding
chat.
yourself to blame.
I'm back
Well, I mean,
now.
I guess that'd be
I've not
fun.
left.
And he's back.
Imagine I've never
Back
left.
again.
Okay,
Robin's back.
here's the
It's
chat.
when-
Here's the chat. Creationists believe the flu evolves. It's human evolution they care about and the beginning of life.
So you this is the bit with creationists I don't get. If they're correct, so you're saying that the entire human race started from a brother fucking his sister.
Yeah.
Well, not
Tasty.
even. It's before that. It's basically some bloke shagging himself.
Mm.
Because she's a bit of a she's a spare rib.
Evolution's crazy, but I prefer to think of us that we've all stemmed from a guy fucking his own rib.
I mean, it's obvious that Adam and Eve weren't related to Habib because Habib would have eaten the rib.
He's thinking about
True.
ribs now.
He is. Rib. Cheese.
He was thinking about ribs the moment we mentioned them.
I've got a bit of a question.
A
Well,
bit
it's
of a
supposed to be-
question. What, are you going to just stop halfway through? How does that work? Can I just ask you? Are you really into? You see, it doesn't work like that. You need to finish the whole thing. I want a whole question. Thank you.
Okay, so
How much is that?
supposing all the Bible studies, all the religious stuff, all that happened. Genuine question: would this have all happened in the Middle East or something around that area?
Yes, in the English-speaking part.
Seemingly.
So,
In the white part. It's where all the white people
This-
come from.
You're
Yeah,
done.
thank you.
Okay, right. Carry on.
That's kind of what I was trying to get, Bruce. So that's what I'm gonna say. I don't get about white supremacy because a lot of these white supremacists, or rather white people, seem to really take the Bible so literally. And I'm thinking, dude, if anything, you guys are the wrong ones because the true people are really the brown people.
As
but
Kraut says, we
Jesus-
are all
Jesus
in
is
fact
white,
cousin
wasn't he?
fuckers.
Jesus was white, yes.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, yeah, we've seen him in the movies. He's kind of white.
By the way, every time you swear, it makes me want to moderate you. Apparently, I don't know. I'm trying to stop that from happening.
Who?
The
chat.
yeah, it's sort of it's all very
It-
child friendly
you know,
nowadays.
you
I thought I'd
can-
turn that off.
Yeah, you can turn it off somewhere in the settings. I haven't played around with the new studio thing, but it's an option there.
Hang on, I'll sort it out.
You'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got
Right.
something. Cut channel that can be approved. There we go. Awkward silences. Can you squeeze in 7 out? Probably about 20, 25 around that. That's about
Boy.
as far as 7 hours 17 seconds. How many awkward silences can we squeeze into that? About seven or 8.
According to the Mormons, the Garden of Eden was in the continental US. Wow.
Well, they're Mormons.
So that should stop it. There you go, sorted.
What have you done?
I've told the chat to stop swearing. I've asked the chat nicely to stop swearing.
Oh, wait. Did you swear in the chat by any chance?
Oh,
in
that'll
your
do it.
message by any
You
chance?
always...
Would I?
Well, the thing is, it's not appearing on my end.
I haven't touched your end.
No, I'm saying it's not appearing in my comment
Have you
section
like
thing.
swallowed a dad joke book or something?
How old am I?
Oh, wait, now it's suddenly appeared.
How old am
Yes.
I? And you're asking
All I'm
me if I
saying-
do dad jokes.
Yeah, you've typed in capitals, stop fucking swearing, you fucking wanking bastard.
A lad was brought over by his girlfriend to meet the dad, and the dad said to him, "I want her home before midnight." And he goes, "You already own her home." And he went, "If you don't have sex with him, I will." I like that one. Anyway, see, I can bring the dad jokes anytime.
I don't believe. I'm sorry, but Sophie swore.
Oh.
Yes, I'm accepting these on the fly at the moment. So this is actually sort of.
I can't believe Sophie has sworn.
I mean, boobs and titties. She said. There we go. Bring that up there.
No, she says I will fucking not.
There's only certain blocked words, which is cook, cuck, Bettina, Steinbach, and 1442 517. This all makes sense. It says allow all comments. Oh, there we go. Hold inappropriate. There we go. Let's get rid of holding inappropriate.
I always keep a hold of my inappropriates. It's really doesn't hold their inappropriates now and again.
So could somebody please show me some titties or say some titties, see if it works now?
Titties?
Yeah, titties or boobs or something.
Oh, you mean in the chat?
You know,
very important.
Finger stink, something. I don't know.
Hang on, I'm gonna do it.
Here we go.
Fuck tits. Please.
You don't have to label them all. Just want one or two.
Okay, I just sent it.
And
yeah, apparently you can still say rhubarb, so that's okay.
that's not even how you spell rhubarb.
It's how the Dutch spell rhubarb.
Well, if you type that out, I can't see it, Bakura.
Okay.
Where did you type that out? Where did you type that out?
In the live chat. On the YouTube live chat. Literally, it's look, it should be beneath Rick's comment, which is
all of you viewers are enjoying this excellent content. Wow.
All right.
I love the fact that everyone always interrupts Bakura.
It's under anyway.
I've noticed it. I've noticed it, but I just can't help letting it go because it really infuriates him after a while. And it's kind of amusing to watch him sort of lose his shit over it.
Anyway, my comment I put underneath the one that's Rick, which is you know?
It's the fact that he ignores it too. The fact that I'm openly saying it and talking about him in the third person, he doesn't seem to even, you know. But it's not coming through. Yeah, I'm not getting anything from you now, Bakura.
Okay.
Nothing's being typed through. Have you been
banned?
banned?
I only typed one. No, I only typed one comment, which was fuck titties.
Because I'm not seeing it.
Right. So there you go, man. It works.
Maybe instead of holding the comment, it just like deleted it automatically.
Well, no, nothing's coming up. It says allow all comments and the hold potentially inappropriate chat messages for review thing I've unclicked.
Oh wait, actually, this has actually been a
out...
thing for me before. Actually, I've typed stuff before, and when I'm looking at the actual video where you have the comments in, I noticed that my comments didn't come in if there was swearing in them.
Yeah, I can swear. It's fine by me. I need other people to swear.
Could I just point out that all you foreigners, the reason Brexit's happening is because you're typing foreign language in Robin's comments. You've caused Brexit. It's your fault. Own it. That was a statement on behalf of the stupidly Brexit party.
Jeff Holiday has gone bread tube. What does that even mean?
Oh, that's the thing these left-wing YouTubers are using now for some reason.
Basically, Jeff's hang on, I've got to remember his name. Bronx
blogger.
Yeah, he. For a bit of history, he does have history with Jeff. A few years back, he threatened to. When Bronx was saying that he was a police officer in the New York police and he was going to... He basically made some rather inappropriate threats towards Jeff's wife, and I think the child as well.
Right.
Well, they kind of... Jeff drew a line under it. Let's, get on with our lives and stop being silly. And then, for some reason, Bronx... presumably he's short of money or something, has decided to start having a go at basically started having a go at Jeff because Jeff had decided that all this the Kekistan, it was funny at the time. Well, they thought so, but it went a bit silly.
Jeff, it wasn't funny. Jeff, it wasn't funny.
It was, but
I love you, Jeff, And I know we split on this particular one, guys, but it was never funny.
It's bad enough there are actually people at MCM Comic Con wearing Kekistani cosplay things.
Well, Jeff has quite rightly had I have got it listed to view shortly. The video on Jilly Juice that Jeff made, but had to wait till Manification turned around and said, yes, you can do it and you can get paid for it. So I can't, but I mean, let's be honest, America, Jilly Juice, let's produce more fucking load of shit that I say will cure cancer, but patently won't. And suddenly Bronx has kicked off about it.
For what reason? I don't know the reason, though.
I don't know. I was reading it and then he got blocked, and so all
Bronx,
the...
what Bronx is doing is basically he's gatekeeping the left. He appointed himself the self-appointed the gatekeeper of who can consider themselves lefty these days.
Because that always goes well.
So yeah, he's blocking people like Sean Had, Jeff Holiday, and these kind of people. Like anyone who had change of heart.
He's blocking Shu. She's one of the most inoffensive people on the internet.
No, he takes everything way too seriously, and he digs into people's history and goes like, "You said this thing back in 2015." Which means that you can never be a lefty anymore. Oh, by the way, Dusty's a very fine gentleman, by the way.
What you're saying is, so basically what he's saying is that once you've made a statement, no matter what your experience is after that statement, and you realise that perhaps that statement was incorrect, you can't change your mind.
The thing is, like, he operates with a lot of assumptions. Like, I had a chat with him about it later on, and I was like, okay, everything that you accused Jeff Holiday of before you blocked him, I'm guilty of, including the creation of Kekistan. I was there during the creation, and I helped create that thing. And he's like, well, because you own up to it, you're a liberal. And I'm like, you just show that you have no idea what my politics are if you just called me a liberal. Like, seriously, dude, I'm way to the left of most liberals. And yeah, he's I don't know, he's still okay with me for some odd reason.
Still, can someone explain?
Well, he needs to keep up his brown quota.
So can someone explain the concept of bread tube to me? Because I know it's something that some left wingers are using, but I don't get bread tube.
Bread tube is basically famous or big lefty YouTubers. Think about Counterpoint, Philosophy Tube, these kind of people. They never really called themselves that. It's just a thing that started on Reddit, and it just started sticking.
Basically, there's a lot of kids who made something and deciding it sticks.
So the reason they decided to call it BreadTube was because there's this book for anarcho-communists.
The Conquest of Bread, isn't it, something?
Correct. Yeah. So they started using BreadTube as a sort of endearing kind of thing for quote-unquote socialists. Now, are these individuals socialists? Who knows? They're definitely not anarcho-communists. That much I can definitely tell you. But yeah, that's where the whole bread moniker sort of came from.
So
I've read The Conquest of Bread,
so
and it's
just clear this:
horseshit.
it's got nothing to do with yeast and yeast infections, then.
But simply, it's a lot of people I want to pretty much stay clear away from, just as much as I do a lot of the anti-SJW people.
I do.
I wouldn't put myself down as anti-SJW. I just find some of the things they say. They interpret these statistics in a way that I find unpleasant, and they say things that I don't necessarily totally disagree with. It's a weird one, I find, anti-SJW and SJW.
I just want to watch the movies and shows that I like without people telling me why I'm evil. Thank you for liking those things.
Tough.
While you're evil, you don't eat enough rhubarb.
Oh, fine, I'll have some rhubarb then.
Well, John Carmack has something to say, which is, given the ever-widening compute bandwidth gap, maybe we should throw a little bit of hardware at high-performance random sequence generation. You can do a lot with seeded randoms if you're up against the memory wall. Wise words.
Thank you,
Okay.
Father Carmack, for
That's John
that
Carmack's tweet of the day.
wisdom. Very good. Excellent.
Did you watch his interview with Rogan?
Did he say a lot?
Yes, he did.
He does that a lot.
No, yeah, his interview with Rogan was quite fascinating. He went through like his early days with id Software, and even before id Software, the way he gave away a Ferrari to the first.
Robin Crowd's asking to come in.
He
The first
has
tournament.
answered OFC. Off your fuck cunt, I think that stands for, but it might be.
No, I like that interview because they went through not just his contributes to the gaming industry, but also to VR, and they veered into like his other passions, like his passions into cars. He's apparently one of the few people, if not one of the first people, that actually went and turbocharged a Ferrari. Because you don't do that. Why would you turbocharge a Ferrari?
I
Even
would
ahead and
believe
did it.
You
What?
could.
Even turbo Ferrari.
Turbocharged Ferrari.
Most Ferraris. A lot of Ferraris got turbo.
Hey, Crowd.
We're now entering
No,
an
they
area
don't.
that I'm sorry.
They don't.
They fucking well do. The 590?
No.
Oh, you're on about older
No,
ones. I mean,
No, I'm not about the older ones, like the ones that are on the track. I'm talking like street
yeah.
legal ones. No, most of them are not supercharged. No, not turbocharged.
Oh, turbo and superchargers are different. I
didn't say supercharged. Sorry, it's turbocharged. A lot of them are not turbocharged. Maybe the newer ones, like I think the Testarossa.
The newer
is
ones are.
turbocharged. Yeah, the turbo ones. I think the Testarossa is.
Yeah.
But the one that I'm very familiar with is the F50 and the F40 ones. Those are not turbocharged at all.
No.
Oh,
Well, you
okay.
can get a turbo variant.
I think I've met this Master Bronx guy. He's
Really?
like,
Oh yeah, you did.
yeah,
You did.
I've met this guy. He was a bit extra, wasn't he?
He shouts.
Was that when we were remember? I don't know. Should we? Is this allowed to be said? I can't remember.
Just say whatever. I don't
All
care.
right, when Jeff was
It's your show, Robin. If you if you don't know,
no, I'm
nobody
just
else
making
does.
sure that I don't sort of step on anyone's confidence. That's all.
No, it's fine.
As far as I was aware, like Jeff
Never
was
bothered you before.
Jeff was a little bit drunk and he was going to go on, what was it, Kevin Logan's stream. That was it, wasn't it? I think that's when we met him.
No, I mean I've met him way before that. I've known the guy for years.
Yeah, but I mean when I met this guy and he was a bit much. He's like, yeah,
He's quite loud.
Yeah, I remember you told me after that like he's a bit much, and I was like, yeah, I know, but he wears it on his sleeve.
like a
And
violent.
this-
He's like the straw man that the ASJWs sort of push up there. He's kind of like that
I
violent
know, but-
anti-far lefty. It's like, yeah, we want him to be fucking afraid. It's like, do you even leave your own home? Come on, be honest with yourself. You've never left, have you? You're literally having to fucking swallow
Well,
vitamin D tablets, aren't you?
He used to.
I bet you've got
do
psoriasis, haven't you?
He used to do his bloggy thing from.
he's-
It looked like the guy. Not. It's like he wasn't allowed in the house.
No, he lives in the Bronx actually, and yeah, he's got
I
health
hope so.
issues, not just mental health. He's got really serious health issues.
Well, yeah, but there was no need. I mean, he did claim to be a member of the New York Police Department.
Oh yeah, I'm not defending his actions, but
I mean,
when
he
you-
said he
yeah,
has said so, it is the same person. He did
But he
say
has
some fairly
apologised.
unpleasant things.
He has apologised for saying all that stuff. And
Well, that's fair enough.
apologised to
but-
Jeff. That was years ago, that stuff.
I know, but I've
Ages.
got a memory, and it just sticks in the head. I mean, I've spoken to him in one of your Discord forums.
No, he isn't in any now, I think. I get
think
along
you'll
with the
find
guy
he's
pretty
in. I'll tell you which forum it is if you want. Hang on.
He's up on, yeah, he's up on.
Kraut server 3245. No, if it's not that
Oh
one.
God, just talk over him, mate. You just gotta shout. It's the only way. What were you saying, Kraut?
Anyway, good evening, Joseph.
Well, Jeff is not actually trying to join BreadTube. The thing with Jeff is that I talked with him about that actually today and a couple of times before. We're both kind of internet homeless, if that makes sense. Like,
I know how you feel.
Yeah, no, we're both being, kicked out of communities. And to a certain extent, when you're kicked out of a community, you get this weird phantom pain where you miss being in a community. But over time, you get used to it. And then after that, you start to appreciate it because you realize, hey, I can now just fuck with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff isn't there yet.
Welcome
Jeff
to my
is
world.
still in there getting used to it.
Yeah, welcome to my world, mate.
Are you okay?
What, me? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
having a lazy day. With a massive fucking pizza.
You kind of look like you've been kicked out of the bedroom right now, mate.
No, this is a couch. I love this couch. It's really warm here. I'm having a wonderful day.
So you love sleeping on the sofa?
No, I'm gonna crawl into my bed when I'm actually going to bed. But for now,
Dragging the duvet and pillow behind you.
I had this really
It's Saturday
stupid
night,
idea.
guys. What are you expecting?
I had this really stupid idea of putting all my desktop set up in front of this couch. Why sit my ass on this hard chair when I can just...
Yeah,
That's a good idea, mate.
yeah. I tell you what, a comfortable sort of armchair kind of deal is so much better than fucking like desk chairs, man. I don't know why anyone's doing this.
I'm lying on the bed.
Yes, those Luca.
It's great. It's
Get a little footstool, you're sorted. What are you needing, like?
That's an awful thing to call Magda.
Rude. Good job,
I
you're
look
on
I
top
can't
of it.
believe you did that.
When I look at the BreadTube community, it's almost like a mirror image of the community that I was part of.
Oh.
That's how I feel, at least. Like,
Loads of fevered egos all clambering over
Yeah,
each
but
other
not
like
just
fucking
that.
hamsters. Yeah.
the similarity in behaviors, like Vaush is not entirely sure. He's either left-wing quartering or left-wing Warski. Peter Coffin is basically left-wing Sargon of Akkad, just completely high on his own farts. Like, these people just mirror everything. The character traits, like, politically, they're, of course, completely different, but the character trait, they're just like the people they hate so much.
Well, this is the thing, you see, is a lot of this, for me, or at least when I see this, is a lot of people who want to exercise their passive-aggressive streak. They want to exercise their anger in some way. And so they pick a side. Some side, whatever that side may be. It doesn't really
I just
matter.
draw balls now on YouTube.
I
just draw balls.
All of these people could have been on the left or on the right. They could have been. It really depends on who pissed them off enough. And Luca, could you please mute?
Well, it's whoever gets to them first, right? I mean, it's like when I fell in with Christy Winters and Kevin Logan in that group. It's just tribalism. You fall into a group of individuals who are essentially just sort of
I actually made
interested in everything that you have to say, because you're basically coming up with stuff that they like to hear. People just wanted to hear me dunk on Sargon. That's the only reason they ever listened to me.
Yeah.
Is this just proof that we are having a lot of mental health issues than we used to right now?
I think it's just that when people are driven online, and you'll notice the type of people, it's people like me who are on disability, who don't really have the luxury of doing much of anything in the day-to-day. But for a lot of young people, they're doing that voluntarily because they're searching for a sense of identity, and they're sort of finding it online. They can find it either through the alt-right, or they can become a Bernie bro. But any group that has this sort of out-group that you can blame all your problems on is very intoxicating for people.
Pascal is hitting it on the head, because I came to the conclusion too that most of this shit is just purely and completely personality driven. It's basically just about building a personality on the internet, which is why I think one of the best things I did for my own mental health, not just for my channel, was to depersonalize, to just cut my personality out of it and just draw balls.
You want to know?
Basically.
That's
You
one
don't
way
want
to
to know
deal
what
with
I
it.
did? What I decided to do was I decided to say, okay, I'm gonna take away every single identity that I've ever sort of forged. I'm not gonna be a feminist. I'm not gonna be, sort
That's
of empirically driven. I'm gonna be on team human being. And the sad part about that is you get to be very lonely because you start seeing everybody's bullshit, and the second you criticize anything they have to say is when you become a pariah for it.
I have
I
honestly
also
never.
have to dis- oh, sorry, you please.
Yeah, I was just saying, I've honestly never understood this idea of, well, identity, really, or maybe online identity. But I mean, everyone, and when Gamergate was coming around, I was seeing everyone talking about community this, community that, this community, that community. I'm just a fan of things, mate. I've never seen being a fan of anime as being part of an anime community. I think, I went on forums, but that's just a talk.
Well,
That's why everyone who unironically calls himself a gamer or opens the videos with "Hello, fellow gamers" should just be shot.
look at the most marginalized group that's out there on the internet who doesn't necessarily have a choice. No, it's not gamers. It's trans
I
people.
must check.
Trans people.
Trans people have a suicide or attempted suicide rate of about 50% plus, and that's just a start. When social pressures start like coming in, it goes up. So they'll find themselves on the internet, and a lot of them find themselves in these sort of like anarcho-commie sort of socialist groups, right? And they'll gravitate towards that because they're a lot more suggestible. Because life
because
has
it's
been
the only place where they're treated like human beings. Let's be honest about it.
well. There's that, but it's more or less that whenever your back's up against the wall, you're a lot more accepting of outlandish ideas, and especially when there's like an out group to sort of blame, like it's corporations.
Well,
it's
more
that.
it's more of a perversion of the in group rather than the out group. If you imagine, you see this in conspiracy circles. You see is that people come together under a particular. In general, a lot of the case when it comes to a conspiracy theory, it's based upon a particular event or happening or whatever else has happened, and the official story feels suspicious. It's really it, and loads of people sort of like come into this and kind of go, "Hang on, this doesn't seem right." And they talk amongst themselves. They try and find out amongst themselves. Somebody comes up with a theory. Some people come up with some information and some evidence, some expertise, all that sort of thing. Then what happens is there's this steady state that comes about where all of the information and all of the ideas and everything like that are sort of kind of amalgamated into some sort of roundabout sort of, we're not sure. Then somebody comes up with some outlandish stuff. And it gets attention. And then people who like to get attention for their idea start getting a little bit more outlandish like that. And you see this in these communities where like the loudest voices are usually the most heard. It's generally the ones with the most vitriol to the out group, definitely. But it's also the fact of compounding what the in group is as well.
But and this is where Robin and my personal experience come in. It's also, by and large, mostly a lie.
Money.
Well,
Exactly.
Look at what happened with ContraPoints, for instance. Like you had a lot of people who are in trans communities that have like openly attacked her just because of some very like inconsequentials, like nothing burger slice, but they're online and they take part in these sort of performative ethics to the point where they set the bar so high that nobody can pass it. But with Contra's like one of the individuals who arguably put trans people on the map on YouTube. Like, I mean, I know she doesn't want to be the spokesperson, but I mean, that kind of visibility has become pretty much prevalent. So to sort of attack the person who's doing that is kind of weird to me.
Well, it does make... You saw this within sort of circles within Gamergate, for example. Ralph is a prime example. He goes after everybody and gets attention that way. He goes after bigger fish.
It's also the manipulative game, like the just really creepy, stupid, obnoxious, Machiavellian, wannabe Machiavellian games that people play.
Well, it's hurting. It's when you're hurting your own cause, right? That's.
It's not about the cause. It's not about your cause. It's about you.
Did I ever show you my DMs with Sargon?
No.
I think I showed them to Robin. Right.
There is, and I'm trying to formulate this argument as I'm talking. So
yeah, Carl.
Me.
People have seen you. People have
there
seen your
was
privates.
The problem with 30 years ago, we didn't have the technology to deal with people who were trans. And I don't want to upset anybody, but we didn't. As we have developed more...
Actually, gender transmission has been a thing since the 70s.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying... I mean, this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to formulate what I'm trying to say as I'm talking. It's... if I get I don't want to insult people because I'm not trying to insult people, but we're using trans as the example, unfortunately. We've now worked out that, yes, we can help people that, are trans, born in the wrong, you have the body, but you haven't got the physiology's wrong for you. And now we can, society, I say we, society, company, whatever you want to call them, can now help assist these people to be happy, for want of a better word, to satisfy what they are, to assist them to be what they should be.
Or get them at least as close.
Yeah. And
unfortunately...
By the way, quick interruption. Do you mind if I stream this myself on my Twitch?
Sure.
I don't care.
Okay.
Go for it. We'll try not to get you banned.
Pascal, I'm sending you something.
Ooh, miss it.
Then I'm gonna DMCA your channel. Make mega bucks. Somehow.
I'm gonna stream this on my Twitch as well.
Super chat.
All right, you're always so we're gonna have like more viewers, but just not on this fucking channel. If he's got like 20,000 people on his fucking Twitch channel listening to this, it's gonna be really pissing me off. That will.
Well, you
motherfucker.
At best, we're gonna have like 20 people listening in. If I unmuted, that is.
That will help.
But you understand? I mean, I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I think as humanity has done, the more we understand, the more we see more problems.
What?
Or issues. Sorry, I don't want to mean not problems, issues. Does that make sense? The more it's like an illness. The more you understand about an illness, the more you understand about
I don't know what
how
he's
to
talking
cure
about,
an
to be
illness.
honest with you, mate. He just goes on after a while. You just let him go
Until
he wears himself out.
No. I don't know what I'm doing.
Trying to talk about how
We are seeing that you are trying to talk, definitely.
So,
do you want me to give the lecture? You want the lecture on talking?
I wanted to say hi to Fluffy. Hi, Fluffy.
Hello, Fluffy.
Is my mic working?
Yes.
Yes,
it is.
That's what you were trying to ask for ages, and nobody could hear you because they were too busy talking. So I thought I'd give you that time. So there you go.
There you go.
You're working.
We're live.
We're live. Hello, everybody.
We're live.
Oh yeah, I haven't told you guys yet. I had to rebuild my computer over Christmas because my motherboard finally died.
Ooh.
So I've got some nice new shiny parts in it.
Shiny.
Like, do you want 2070 and everything?
Fluffy, do you want to F5 mate, because it's a bit funny?
No, you're not.
Okay, that's cute.
That's an old joke, but let's be fair.
Sean,
Are you
Sean,
going to don't PC Master Race him? That's rude.
No, I'm gonna go and say, well, that 2070 is cute and all, but I've got a 2080 Ti.
Eat his
I want to spend
ass.
400 quid more.
Why don't you just go over there and teabag him right now, Focus Break? Just be done with it.
I got it in the Christmas sale, so I got 40% off all my shit.
Nice.
I've got mine during the Black Friday stuff, so I got it with good prices, yeah. But
The Christmas sales in the UK were weird this year. Well, last year.
In what way?
Well, it was like 50% off on most things.
There was something
It's
in
just like the shops were trying to go, we're in a recession, just buy shit, buy shit, buy shit, shall we get out of it?
There was something in the news, though, about how a lot of supposed Christmas sales aren't actually sales. They haven't reduced their prices at all, or something.
By the way, you should know that most of the people watching on Twitch are from my new audience, the normie audience.
Hello, new audience.
These are literally people who ask questions like, "Who the fuck is Sargon?" So,
and you know what? Yeah, I envy you.
Let's be fair.
I envy you lot. I really do.
Who hasn't asked who the fuck is
The
Sargon?
less you know, the better. I assure you.
A man who
only
once
know
said it
about him
depends
because
on
you
the
people talk
child.
about him.
He's the
I
stupid
think I
man,
told-
stupid guy.
I think I told Robin about this, that I recently checked my analytics, and I'm still losing subscribers as fast as I did last year. Like,
Yay.
a lot. But I am gaining them at 10 times that rate, which means in 6 months I will have replaced my entire audience.
They're like a
Like,
skin.
I am
Yay.
just...
Well-
yeah.
It was always going to be a long-term thing, wasn't it?
It worked
I
out
mean,
pretty well in the end, but I
The
was very
historical stuff you
pessimistic.
do, and the voice. You do have the voice for doing the historical stuff.
Well, it's not
I mean,
just that.
let's
What I'm
be fair, I
trying
mean-
to do is... I'm trying to be the anti-Sargon. I'm trying to make researched content. Not just, let me read the news to you.
It's. Does. How do I
Oh
put
God.
it? In the UK today, there is. I think it's in the Independent.
It's like watching Eddie the Eagle Edwards. You know?
Oh, you're having a go. Habib's glasses now.
No. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
what did I do?
Nobody's
Carl
having a
actually
go.
did speak. Carl
So,
actually
so
spoke at
here's the thing.
university.
Here's the thing, Kraut. When are you gonna finally, and I mean finally, when are you gonna finally dump the deal with it glasses? It's gonna,
that
it's
profile
gonna,
shit
it's come on, mate. It's getting to be a point of a like.
Yeah.
Well, he
No,
wants to
I know,
avoid
I
the
know,
UK recognition.
Well,
You've even got them the wrong way round, you know.
See,
I know.
occasionally-
I don't know what to replace them with, or how. Or, like,
But
I
we
thought
need
about
to go through some
renaming my
iconography
channel.
with you. Yeah, we need to think about some way of like redoing your channel so you're
But
really
the thing
you.
is, most people. That's the thing. The fucking monster that I helped create is this soup of garbage avatars where people just Google some random clip art and then they just put these fucking stupid sunglasses on it, and it's like, oh look, I am this creative sunglass creature. I'm moving away from that in the sense of that I don't use my avatar anymore in my videos.
It'll naturally occur through time.
Yeah, people don't come for the avatar anymore. People come for, I guess,
the content.
Oh yeah! Wow.
I mean,
See,
it's-
I'm really enjoying Kraut's
much as I-
redemption arc here. I just wanted to, you know, I think
Much as
once the deal with it glasses go, you know, he's sort of like fully out of there. You know.
Much
I
as
am
don't
fully
want
out.
to blow smoke up his
Hey,
arse.
dude, guess when Sargon slipped back into my DMs after my falling out with him? Right when my channel started recovering. That's when he turned up again. Like, I am out, but
Oh,
there
you're
are
not trying
people.
to-
There are people who just want me back in again. And that is the really annoying part, that all these people who didn't want
precious
to talk to
subs.
Oh yes, look at this audience, because they know the other thing, which is my audience. I looked into my analytics. 9 out of 10 subscribers are disconnected from this fucking cultural sphere of the internet. These are normies. These are the most precious subs someone could have. And I have them in abundance now.
Wait, I've got one really question to ask about your analytics.
So yes, hello, new people. Kraut's okay. He's been a bit weird, but he's all right. He's not. He could be worse. So welcome to the open house, because he's basically just riding my stream like a bitch. And you could come over here and actually make some sort of comment. So
I haven't made the announcement yet to my server. That's when we get
right.
the 20 views.
If people wish to comment,
bring them over. Get me some subscribers.
I
want some subs.
I will link the stream.
I want some subs. I want to leak some subs out of you. That's what. Yeah, that's more like it.
I already have 200 Twitch.
Robin needs to buy
200. You say?
Well, do you know what I usually do on Twitch? I draw balls.
I bet.
Is there any more content to it than that?
I'm completely unsurprised by that sentence.
Can I just throw this into
you draw?
And Joseph will be.
It's a joke.
Joseph, you'll love this.
Mm-hmm.
In a recent poll in the UK, approximately 2.5 million people don't think the Holocaust happened.
2.5 million?
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers. We need to bring that up to, what, 4 or 5, around 6? Be about right.
Fuck me, Swinton's big.
I was gonna say something, but then I remembered that I'm on Twitch, where I'm easily banned.
They probably think the Holocaust is some sort of TV program on Channel 4.
I was brought up on.
Everyone's Hollyoaks.
Chatty, wait. Someone in my chat has asked, what is the open house? The open house is a live stream hosted by yours truly, Robin Gethin. I'm restreaming it on Twitch. And the concept of the open house is that anyone can join and talk to whoever is on. The link to the YouTube channel is in the chat and Twitch. You can click on it, go there, subscribe, watch your streams.
If you'd like
get to know Robin.
Yeah, if you'd like to come on to the open house, I am on Twitter. If you tweet at Robin at the house, and I will then you've got to follow me, of course, and then I can DM you a link to the Google Hangout, and you can pop yourself in here and talk to Kraut, your very own self. Ooh.
And just so you know, he also doesn't know who Sargon is. So,
poor lad.
It was going so
Keep him innocent. Just keep him innocent.
Yeah. Carl apparently
Got to stop talking. Got to stop mentioning the S man. You see, that's what's going on. It's and they'll start looking, and then you'll be converting them to the dark side.
Could I just ask that you don't refer to me as the S-man again?
I'm not referring to you. You're not that important.
Sounds awesome, actually. The S-man.
It's like when someone says, "Don't say the N-word."
Yeah.
Nicaraguan.
Nigel Farage. Sorry.
So yeah, if you want to talk to these people, obviously it's up to you. You could do other things with your life. I mean, anything. Honestly, anything would do.
This is the best Robin has been able to accumulate over 5 years.
Yeah, if I can find a better class of people to sort of shoulder this lot out, please do.
Why are you're using Yorkshire, lad? You can't use class. It's got to be class. You're Southern.
I'll do what I like. Thank you very much.
You didn't have that many bad guests. I mean, you had Sargon on, whoever the fuck that is. I don't know who he is. I mean, who is the guy? Who is that guy?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, what about
That's a very esteemed guest.
Not obsessed. He's not obsessed. He's fine. He's fine. He's fully recovered.
Joseph, we have questions from the chat, and one of them is, how drunk are you?
I'm not drunk.
Hello, TieTube.
I think. No.
What do you mean you think? Have you been putting any alcoholic drinks in your stomach in
Dude,
the last
no,
8 hours? It's
I
really simple to know.
I decided that today was the laziest day.
That's Sunday.
I decreed that today was a lazy day. I spent the entire day eating pizza, smoking weed, and I even bought a pack of cigarettes. So,
Well, weed finally explains a lot, mate.
Okay. I would.
Nah,
See, I remember
it's
talking to
not
you a
the
few
weed,
months
it's the
ago
tobacco.
about you
Ignore the
not
tobacco.
smoking and stuff. So is this fallen by the wayside at this point?
no, I still have my electric cigarette.
You don't.
It
So you
won't
don't
hurt to
smoke really. You
It's-
just buy a pack now and again.
Yeah, does it really hurt that much if I smoke a cigarette once a year?
No. How many cigarettes have you smoked so
Yeah.
far this week?
I haven't smoked a single cigarette in. Wow. Well, before today, I haven't smoked a single cigarette in a year.
Before today.
and-
So in other words, a day.
Yes.
Robin,
A day
you're
has gone
asking the wrong
by since you've
question.
last had a cigarette, is what you're saying to me.
Robin, you're
No,
asking
2
the wrong
hours.
question.
Yeah.
The question you should be asking is how many spliffs have you had?
Today,
Yes.
That many, huh?
3.
And your spliffs are made
Is
up
that
with?
per hand?
Are they mixed with? Are we talking about tobacco with a bit of weed in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's be fair.
2016 does
Yeah,
feel
I
like
mean,
a different
100%
century.
right.
I know what you mean, Tai Tube. Welcome back.
Well, you need a day like this on occasion, where you just, it feels good, and you need it.
This is. You gotta live a life at some point or another. You can't be worrying about it all the time.
Exactly. And then you can go back to figuring out who the fuck Sargon is.
I don't know, but
At this point, you're the only
little-
one keeping him alive, mate, as far as relevance is concerned now.
At least this shit. What the fuck? Why is this doing hiccups?
Like I said, sooner
Can we
or
just
later
treat-
he's going to be on here looking for a fucking, looking to come in, and they'd be like, nah,
Maybe.
nah.
uh,
Can we just
wanna
review
apologise.
what the voters in the southwest of England did?
Who's going to be looking at here?
No, I was saying eventually Carl's going to get so irrelevant he's going to want to come on here.
Oh,
They're literally turning up
Nobody
in my
can
chat
get that.
asking who he
That's
is.
irrelevant.
See what you've done.
Let's face it, a certain internet personality who, AS, if you remember her, she still tries to find ways to become relevant. She was complaining about The Mandalorian when that came out.
Yeah, if
and
anyone's
everyone gave her
listening,
attention.
if anyone's listening, you know, like there's some people who are a little bit too PC in the world. Yeah, imagine a YouTube sort of dedicated to a guy who just is like that. Imagine somebody who reads the Daily Mail and believes what's in there. That sort of person, yeah. Somebody made a YouTube channel out of it, and he actually kind of got famous for a while. I think it was probably because Top Gear wasn't running anymore.
Well, he doesn't even read the Daily Mail. He reads the headlines of the Daily Mail.
He thinks the Daily Mail's a bit left wing.
I'm pretty sure with his
it's
fan
wrong.
base it gets read to him.
reactionary content. It's like, get a load of me, getting a load of this guy.
Yeah.
And that guy depends on like your political leaning. But it's always going to be this really surface level take, and it's not going to provide anybody with any sort of insight into anything in reality.
May I point a finger at this person and see how bad they are? Well, I'm not that. Ergo, I am good.
Oh, I fucking love that audio.
It's basically.
So, look, do you know how much they don't know who Sargon is? They don't know him so much that they actually spell his name wrong. That's you have no idea how much I love you for that.
He really doesn't like Sargon. I don't know if you've noticed this.
As, but as Crab pointed out to me,
you know who
who
Tosh
does?
is? That's basically
Yes.
who he is.
Could I ask anybody in the chat who is viewing this, the people within this sphere, who does like Sargon?
as Crab
No,
was saying, all Carl.
the point I was going to make was that my new audience, doesn't know who Sargon is. Literally, they don't know who Sargon is.
You're so happy with that.
Like, that's not a joke. I'm really happy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, but as Carl was saying, all Carl ever does is just read the headlines of the Daily Mail. Carl, I'm going to tell you something if you're listening, which you're probably not, but you're no different from me. I'm just as lazy as you. I'm just as ill-read as you. But you know what? I'm not trying to be something I'm not.
That's unfair. You're not as bad as
Chat is
Sargon.
complaining that Robin is not responding to their DMs.
Oh, right, sorry, hang on. I was just rolling something, begging your pardon, folks. Okay.
Leave your penis out. Robin, leave your penis alone.
Body blast!
Oh,
Robin,
penis
you're
joke.
popular.
Okay, I remember 40 bucks under.
No, look, you're overdoing it now. You can't overdo
Oh, that's
things.
Jab,
Robin,
Jab.
Robin refuses to be popular. He goes out of his ways to
I've
be
done
Yeah,
my-
he's too popular to be popular.
I've done my level best to you know, I if it gets too much, I've had my moment, and I was sitting there kind of going, yeah, what have I got to sell again? And they were like, yeah, just this chunk of your soul, and I was like, I kind of was hoping to hang on to that. And they're like, nah. And I'm like, well then, fuck off.
Yeah, but did you really need that soul?
Oh,
Oh,
got someone
hello.
else.
This is one of the original open house folks.
Yep.
I don't believe I had a
But he
pleasure.
can't figure out.
Back from the dead.
How are you doing, baby? With
Can
a
you hear me?
decent mic. That's the difference. This is what. I
Oh my
couldn't-
god!
Yeah.
Back in the days when I had to like encode my messages in like wartime efforts or something to talk to people in here.
F5, mate.
It's not that bad.
I'm joking.
Okay, back in a minute. Just gonna smoke this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
leave. Blocks, you can be in charge.
No, oh crap!
You can do it.
Alright, let's. Okay, they're gonna have to start rolling through. Okay.
Good
okay.
evening. How are you?
Good evening. Top of the morning to you, lads.
Top of the morning. Where the
Top of
heck
the
do
morning.
you? Where does one think one comes from?
Yeah, we're
Top
British.
of the morning. I'm
We're
not
mostly
fucking
British
Irish.
here, not Italian.
Oh shit! I
Wait,
fucked up.
I'm an Irish. Excuse
Time
me.
to get out.
It's all right because a certain British gentleman completely screwed up what nation he thought he came from. But anyway, good evening. How are you,
Good evening.
Joshua?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
One cannot complain. I'm not allowed to because if I complain, Robin gets upset. But hey, Levy.
You know, you just gotta chill out, man. You know, you just
So
take it easy. It's just a Saturday afternoon. You know.
Excuse me. I'm 57. What does chill out mean?
Cool beans.
You know that thing that happens when people
I
die
would
of old
just-
age?
Mindly imply that I'm old and youngsters' language just
Yes,
really
yes.
doesn't. Okay, I'm taking the
We
piss.
know you're
I'm
old.
Silver, you know the thing that happens when people die of old age? It's doing that, but forgetting to do the dying bit.
All right. Okay. Sorry. I apologize.
Rhubarb.
Delicious. I never rock the rhubarb.
Sounds- oh, I thought I would come here and talk about white chocolate supremacy again.
And while Robbie's not here.
God damn it, where's the beep when you want to change the subject?
No.
What was that, Fluffy?
Where's the beep when you want to change the subject?
Hmm.
Does anyone remember the game 13?
Yes.
Did
the
it? Yes,
cartoon-
it involved rhubarb.
It's the comic book game for the old PS2, and it's coming out again this year.
With
Had a
rhubarb.
PC release.
No,
as well.
without rhubarb. Well,
No,
you can buy it with
no,
rhubarb
they
if you
have-
want.
With white chocolate supremacy? That's its subject.
It has rhubarb extension.
The Godiva edition.
It had a PC release as well back in the day. I just never got a chance to play it. Heard a lot of good things about it though.
I played it on the PlayStation 2. That's how long ago that was. Woo.
Yep.
So what are
I'm
you doing
strangely
on your
looking
Twitch
forward to
stream
And it's
right
actually
now?
not called 13. It's called 13
Alejandro.
because it's a French cartoon.
Guys, yeah.
Okay, let's get Alejandro on.
I've got one.
Oh, we're going to have a full house then.
A full open house.
Well, I'm Robin, as you always know, I'm quite happy to drop out when you want to fill it out.
We'll see.
Oh, I like you, Sean.
No, you
Well, I'll
don't.
just remind.
Yeah,
I'll just
I can
remind
too,
Mike that
if
again.
need be.
If you want to get on this stream, this is the open house, hosted by yours truly, Robin Geffen. who
Don't say
hosts the
yours
open
truly.
house
Your
every
truly.
Saturday.
Yours truly means like me. So if,
Yeah.
if you're referring to
You are, but
yours truly
English.
is
you're
referring to
the
yourself.
host, Robin. Be fair.
Yeah.
English.
So him
is,
truly.
is my second language.
Hello, Alejandro.
I'll-
Oh, he's going to say something.
Alejandro.
Got a guy called Alejandro.
God, I
coming
hate
up
you
here.
singing.
Toilet break.
He's not working out very well.
Let me post the link again so people know how to find this.
It's been a
Oh,
while
yeah.
since I've been on a Google Hangout. I'm surprised the server
Buenos
still
dias.
exists.
Yeah, it's still working. Still working okay. Everyone's saying that Google Hangouts was going to die. It's
And
just
it didn't.
it's just been left for some reason.
What you gonna do?
You know, Robin,
if it
you know-
dies?
I gotta let you know, I uncovered something a couple days ago when I was talking with the crowd.
Right.
I found a private live stream that I had done during the GG Hangouts back in those days.
Right.
Yeah, on my channel. Yeah, people doing karaoke and stuff.
Nice.
A main event. Oh my god, that was great. But yeah, I just let you know I found that, and it was also like it was streamed on a Hangout. So
There's
yeah,
just some
I mean,
he-
Hangout's been pretty good.
Heady days in the early ones.
Yeah.
You don't need to do now. Just
How many stream places
rent
is this
it.
being streamed at? Right now, here and somewhere on Twitch.
Yes.
Sorry, Alejandro, no, we can't hear you.
We're just, we're on Twitch. We're playing. We're speed running live. It is a speed run, aiming for the
I
shortest
can give you
period
the
of time.
Twitch link. Here you go, Robin. Is the Twitch link?
So, what shall I take your Twitch link and like stream it on mine so we can have
No,
like,
no, no.
proper
Just so you know
streamception?
where it is. Just so you
That's how
know where
it's
it
supposed
is.
to
I
work.
gave my audience your link too, so they
Oh
can find
right, okay. And you've made
So-
the
but
terrible.
this-
I was about to say
What?
you've made the terrible
Made the-
error of being able to see people's video on here, or have you turned that off?
Crowd, you look confused on your camera.
you. Oh shit! I didn't turn that off. No.
Robin, according to Oik, this stream has a nicer background.
It does have a nice
Okay,
background, I
I
think.
just removed everything.
Yeah, it's a
Sorry
professional
for that.
operation around here. As you can see, Kraut's effort. Well, if you want to call it
No,
that.
no, it doesn't.
I mean, this is meant to be a bar, essentially.
Yes, we've got
I forgot that you're not supposed to see people's faces.
Yeah, it's just wise.
Sorry.
It's wise for later. That's all.
We can
Yeah.
still see your face.
I mean, we used to do in the older days. We actually used to post the Google Hangouts on 8chan.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we got all kinds.
That was fun.
all kinds.
Oh, that was okay. That was fun. I don't care how dangerous that was. That was fun.
It was funny, really, because like I was the only person who couldn't see all of the awful things that all of you guys were going, "Oh my god!" to, because I had it all cut off, so that But
Those were.
do you remember the very early days where people could just turn up to those Google Hangouts from?
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
from
I remember-
Google Plus.
One of those people I think that came in was Benjamin Barber. I'm not sure.
Yes,
remember him.
yes, I remember Benjamin Barber. Yes, the first person who was ever convicted of revenge porn, I believe, in California.
Yeah.
That's really something to boast about.
Isn't it
to do.
nice? I've got.
Yeah.
We also.
I had the first revenge porn bar.
Imagine that being in your resume.
Oh, we've got all kinds of nasty here, mate. Do you remember Seattle for Truth?
Ooh,
That guy?
I don't remember Seattle for Truth.
Yeah, we
Oh,
had
maybe I was gone by that time.
we had him on here once. So that was the guy who murdered his parents.
Oh,
What do you mean?
that was
Oh,
awkward.
that is a little.
Robin encouraged
I
him
The
think
best, the
it's
best thing
hilarious.
not to kill his parents.
to grow and expand out of it is the gunt. That is the best thing to come out of it. Alejandro can't get his mic working for some reason.
Yeah, Alejandro, keep practicing, mate.
Keep cracking at it,
Yeah.
mate. You'll crack the case.
Stop using what browser are you using?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. If it's Firefox, I think it has problems
He's
with.
using Chrome.
I'm
He
using
shouldn't have
Opera.
any excuse.
Chrome should work.
I'm using Brave.
I'm having a problem actually right now, which is that Chrome is automatically logging me out of my YouTube. I don't know. how
Well,
to-
even Chrome hates you.
Oh, it does that to me too. I think it's just an issue with like your browser's cache. I think it's something to do with that because I heard
Alejandro.
restarting all that is usually a fix for it.
Alejandro, I'm going to make a suggestion. Have you plugged your mic all the way in?
Not that jack. That's the mic jack. No, that's the rear left speaker jack. You should plug it into the light green one.
And
okay?
don't forget nubiles. Don't forget to sub and do all the other things. Click all the weird buttons that you like to click. That mean that you're supporting us, and we can eventually get up to the 1,000 follower mark, and then we can get those juicy money
And
coming
then
in.
we might find out who Sargon is.
The super chats will finally turn up.
Oh my God, Robin, you're gonna love this. I did something in Blender last night that you might like.
Okay.
No, I don't want to see that. Can I am under
Can
18.
you just send me a
I took-
picture?
I will send it to you. I just don't know how. Hold on. How do I? Oh God, I'm a boomer with this stuff now with Google Hangouts. It just says I can send a message, but I can't send anything. You know what? I'm just gonna DM it to you.
Probably
Robin,
best.
here's a question
Yeah.
from the chat. Where is Mycroft?
I don't know where Mycroft is. I haven't.
Probably drunk.
Mycroft is
Well,
trolling someone. He
Probably
asked me to join
drunk.
him.
That's like kind of going. Probably
He's
alive.
actually been sober for quite a long time. He's
I was
actually
about to say.
He's been quite sober. Did you say?
No, he's been sober for quite a long time, for a few months now.
Not according.
Sober
Not according
for
to
the
the
world
last.
or-
Yeah, I'd spoken to him before then, and not according to that. No.
Oh dear. Okay.
We need to give his liver a fucking
He does-
social media.
He
account.
doesn't lie about his alcoholism to me.
Okay.
Because
Maybe I got
get
something
away
wrong
with
there
it.
as well.
Do we really need him on it?
How many mass shootings are linked to Gamergate as I remember it? I don't really care. Sargon of Wonka supports the white chocolate ethno states.
That's partly because of
And
me.
he-
I was talking about white chocolate supremacy.
and he will vote for an Oompa Loompa, so you know.
Oh God, that reminds me
What
of
happened to
Vernon
all have
Supreme
orange
won a
faces?
position in the Libertarian Party.
And Robin, you asked me why I bothered to
There we go.
Hey, you're working
You
now,
the
mate.
chat.
You're
We
working.
can hear you.
I was a frustrated groan, excuse me.
Alejandro. Good
Hi, how's
night,
everybody
Alejandro.
doing?
Hello,
Bonjour.
new guy. Welcome to our show.
Hello,
You're
Virgin.
live
for-
in front of a
thank
studio
you.
audience.
There you go.
Oh, awesome.
There you go.
Wear as
I
much
just
as you
DM'd you
want.
the picture.
It's great to be here. It's an honor,
Don't
really.
overdo
I
it,
don't.
mate.
Yeah, easy,
Okay.
easy, Tiger.
They've not seen this place before,
So,
have they?
so what? So who be or what be you?
Are you big
Uh,
Yoda?
I am one of Kraut's audience.
Oh
Oh.
god.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm a normie. Don't worry about it though.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're all
He likes
normies.
that. So, what attracted you
we're all
to his channel then? But how did you find him?
I found the channel. How did I find the channel exactly? I believe I was just browsing along. I'm a communications major, but I'm looking to become a foreign service officer eventually. So
Okay.
I was just browsing for historical content and I found it.
So you just look right now, looking for a safe country that America's going to be in.
I live in the
Yeah.
United States. I am an American, so yeah.
What does it
Oh
being
god. We're going to talk about gun
foreign?
control, aren't we?
What does
No.
being a foreign service officer entail?
It entails being for the American Foreign Service. Effectively, my grandfather was one, so it depends on which type of foreign service officer you would be. A consular foreign service officer is typically the people you go talk to if you lose your passport in a foreign country, if you are arrested. They effectively, consular officers handle issues with U.S. Citizens abroad.
Okay.
And there's like diplomatic, economic, and I think 2 other ones. I would probably.
I'm sorry, you think there are 2 other ones?
Give him a
Yes,
chance.
I'm interested in becoming a
At
consular.
least he's bothering to think.
Well, I'm sorry. I do apologise. It's just that
He does apologise quite a lot, actually.
It's okay.
You should know that we're just a bunch of
a various amount of time in the military
And hospital.
I'm sorry.
I've spent a lot of time in hospitals, and
He should be in there right now.
And on
See?
this sentence,
It's
apparently.
UK. The NHS isn't open on a weekend, allegedly.
Thank you for that information.
Wait,
But anyway,
You should
yeah.
know that we're all just. This is not some sort of serious stream. We're all just a bunch of friends who
And
meet
I
up.
should point out we
Ah,
do.
okay.
The
And I should
topic.
point out we do sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just
talk
a
about
relic
Trump.
here, just enjoying
there's
the moment.
there's actually a topic to this. Apparently.
What is the
Okay.
topic?
The topic was
Trump. Really, is
supposed to be talking about the fact that the Senate is on trial at the moment in America.
Oh.
Oh my lord.
Well, it's not the Senate, is it?
Well, absolutely, it's the
Senate.
Senate.
It actually is.
Well,
Yeah,
It's
that's the
Trump
thing.
is.
Yeah,
They're
well,
in
A
trial.
third.
Donald
because
Trump
only a
isn't
third
on
of them are
trial.
up for
Yeah,
election, but-
Donald Trump isn't on trial at the moment. There's a trial in the Senate, but he's not on trial. It's the
Yeah,
Senate
please
that's on
find
trial
me.
right now. Yeah.
very rarely stick to the topic
Um,
for your information.
It's
Yes,
yeah,
we
no,
need
that's
to
fine.
make it.
I don't care. I do the same thing.
I take it.
Frankly, it's
It's
ridiculous.
Yeah, I was about to say. I take
Go
it
ahead.
you're looking at the sort of like this impeachment proceedings and can see that for the joke that it is at the moment.
I tried not to look at the news as a California resident. It just makes you very sad and pessimistic. Living in California, you're surrounded by people who I'm not Republican, but if I mention Republicans, or if I mention something that isn't Republican or that isn't Democratic, some people can be like, "Are you actually conservative?" and start to get on me.
We all know this, mate. We all know this.
What part of California? What part of California are you in?
Northern Bay Area.
Northern Bay
Oh,
Area.
That's north of San Francisco.
Joshua,
it's
where do you stem from?
It's
I'm
not
Texas.
quite on fire.
Northeast Texas.
Alejandro, I'd like to ask you a question. Are you aware of the phrase social justice warrior?
Am I aware of the phrases? Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'll have you know that I protect women.
I'm a very
What is-
strong
I'm
social
sorry.
justice warrior.
Could I just ask Joshua,
Oh God,
what
please
is wrong
no,
with
no, you're not. If you're actually criticizing left-wing people,
I'm not criticising the gentleman. I just want to know
I
what
wasn't
is wrong
talking about
with-
you, Sean. I was talking about Alejandro.
This is
What
what it's
is
like.
wrong
This is
with
what this is
protecting
what
women?
conversation on a Saturday afternoon is like. You see.
There's nothing wrong with protecting women.
Is your
Unless-
name Joshua Alejandro?
I did not know you were asking, Joshua.
What?
I did specifically ask Joshua,
I see.
what is wrong with protecting women?
What's wrong with protecting people?
What's even more sad is women need to be protected.
I frankly don't agree. I agree with Joshua. We shouldn't protect women.
I
Protect themselves.
Where did what
Being roped into
Joshua's
something I don't want to be in.
women have got to pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
Thank you.
Yeah, even if they're tied down to a chair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're
I-
talking about the destination, not the journey.
We live in a right-wing world. We live in a
Excuse
right-wing
me.
world, folks. So we
Do
live in
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
a rising tide lifts all boats and drowns everyone without.
I would. Excuse me, Robin. Be quiet. I'd
What?
just like to.
Are you telling me to be quiet now?
Yes.
This is not going to bode well for you, mate.
You don't understand the question.
Oh, I
I'm
understand.
Going to ask.
Oh, I
No,
understand.
you
that-
don't.
oh, I do understand.
No, you don't.
I know it's going to be a
No,
rhetorical
no,
question.
Don't.
It's going to be a It's going to be a rhetorical question where you pause halfway through,
You don't
take a breath,
understand.
forget about what you were saying, ask us to remind you what you were saying,
you
and
finished?
then you complete your sentence. It's going to be
I'm
that,
not
isn't it?
even gonna
Then you have
bother.
my permission to die.
Okay,
Oh,
then.
you've got 14 people watching this.
Okay,
Robin.
here comes the sentence. Go.
Who am I and what am I doing here?
That's
Sean,
my
what was-
question.
oh. Goodbye.
I'm here. Or actually, I joined because I was like, "Oh yeah, open house," because like Kraut was on it for some reason streaming it, and I was like, "Oh, that's fun." I want to say hi to Robin.
He's gone now.
Oh, goodbye.
No, but I'm not asking.
He'll be back when he's hungry.
He's hungry for news. Hungry for knowledge.
He's hungry for pizza.
So hello,
Do any of you?
Hello, Databus. Welcome. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm when I look at the Senate right now, I'm kind of in this halfway house with them. If I was a Republican and I just couldn't fucking dare go against sort of Trump, if you see what I mean, there's nothing to stop me from abstaining and not turning up to the Senate for the vote.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
There's a scientist, psychologist. Her name's Dr. Liliana Mason. She wrote a book called Uncivil Agreement, and she looked at how the United States was leaning overall, and it's leaning to the left. It's mostly a left-leaning country. The thing that's sort of makes it difficult for a lot of people is the fact that it's polarized. So people's sort of behavior and how they interact on social media and that sort of thing is going to be far more volatile than what the positions they actually hold. Because when you look at what people actually believe in and what they want to push forward, there's a lot more that people agree on than what they disagree on. That's why this whole sort of vilification of people from political parties could be sort of a problem. And it's only one that's it's a gap that's gonna widen because of like online social media and that sort of thing.
Social media was a mistake.
Well, here's a question. Is that a structure of the algorithms that are put in place by social media and these websites to aggregate similar and alike things together, as opposed to,
I think it's more metaphilia than anything, really.
Metaphilia.
You're into what you're into.
Alejandro, there is a lady.
So you're bound to search for what you're interested in searching in, and the algorithm is going to pick up on those sort of behavioral sort of traits and cater for them. You can say that the social media people are basically just sort of like separating us out, but we kind of do that to ourselves anyway.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. It makes only good marketing sense to give people the things that they're typically attracted to, but in terms of political opinions, that could maybe create echo chambers. Sean, you said something about me?
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, you have to remember there is a lady who is sure that all that glitters is not gold, and she is buying a stairway to heaven.
Fuck me, are you off your tits?
Wow.
Who else?
This is prescribed to him. This shit. This is prescribed, man.
What?
Whoa, who's this person?
It's entirely possible that
and she's buying a stairway to heaven.
It's entirely possible that like this sorting is exacerbated by algorithm sort of
multiplied, if anything. It's a multiplier.
Yeah, but I mean, in the United States, it's to the point where Democrats and Republicans don't even watch the same television.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I don't watch television for that reason.
Who's this new person?
Well, this is actually a generational shift. That basically it's boomers and then this massive drop. So all the boomers are watching the telly, and then the rest of us are online.
Everybody forgets about poor Gen X.
Hello?
We're from Generation X, mate. We're supposed to be forgotten. We're the little ones. We don't get a say. We just have to... Our entire job is to make sure that Generation Z can get their illegal alcohol. That's our job.
Welcome, Francis.
Yeah,
is
Francis,
that your name?
Francis is another one of Kraut's followers, apostles, whatever you want to call yourselves.
Francis just a broker. What are you talking about?
How broke?
The broker of memes and news. Franti goes way back. More. I'd say
Yeah, I
before,
go
like,
way back years.
Whoa,
I
what
give
accent
man
is
some
that?
credit.
What accent is that?
Czech.
Oh,
Mate.
Czech.
It's
Okay.
all of the
No,
accents.
Hungarian. It's Hungarian, Jeb.
It's
Okay.
every
Yeah,
European
that.
accent all in one.
I was beginning to think it was French for a moment.
He's literally speaking
You,
the language
sorry,
of
you
Czechniks.
thought that was French.
Mostly English here, right?
Oh,
Oh no. Okay, excuse me for.
well, let's take a look. We've got me, Robin.
We're a little bit of
Sean.
everybody here, mate. It's an international cast.
Franti, what brings you to the open house?
Yeah.
He means yes, we're mostly
I crowd
English.
posted the link, so I went to check it out.
Yeah, welcome, mate. We generally do this every Saturday. We just open up the sluices and anyone can just pretty much talk whatever crap that they like. It can get messy, it can get funny, it can get boring. It's everything the internet is and more.
Who's got the coronavirus?
I haven't yet, but I do have a bit of a sore throat.
That reminds me, I went on a little deep dive on the corona thing. So I
Ooh.
literally made the Discord channel, not channel, but how it's called, a topic on one channel, and I'm basically gathering information there.
So,
Yeah, it's a good one.
So far, from what I've heard, there's
statistics.
about 50 million people in China that have been sort of isolated away from everybody else.
The entirety of Spain, basically in quarantine. Imagine that, like the entire population of Spain, basically in quarantine.
I heard from.
It means nothing.
Okay.
Just because you've isolated a large population doesn't mean the fact that they've been infected.
Apparently on
Well, we
Weibo,
understand
which
that.
is Chinese social media, there are people posting about, almost bragging about how they escaped Wuhan with symptoms. And there apparently was a lot of cover-up done in the days before of the announcement by the Chinese government of just how severe the illness is. So
Well,
I don't know.
obviously, in the earlier days, of course, the thing that you don't want
Yeah,
to do
but
is
it's
tell people.
apparently-
Oh, am I talking or are you talking? Okay.
I'll let you.
Yeah. Imagine, if you will, nobody knows that this isn't going to be an
Nah,
outbreak that's
fuck
going to last a couple of seconds, a couple of weeks, a day. Few people have a problem. What's the point in causing a panic? And the problem is, of course, is when the panic starts to kick in. You know, you've got to obviously readjust to that. But I can understand these people wanted to say, everybody calm down. It's not going to be that bad. We don't want to have people like panic buying and all kinds of other crap like that, because that causes more trouble.
Yeah, but
you
I mean,
don't do a Raccoon City type of quarantine and tell people to calm down.
It's not quite Raccoon City, but you know, it's not like this.
What I meant is, they would crack down on people trying to report it, or what was it? There was a communal dinner, at least according. Now, this is just according to like the YouTubers Serpentism. These are the two former people, Americans and South African who lived in China for over like a quarter of their lives. They were English teachers in China for a long time, and apparently I watch their content because they report and talk a lot about controversial stuff in China. And at least according to them, which isn't the most rigorous source, the Wuhan government and held like a communal banquet just like a couple days after the first person with symptoms started really to present. I don't know if it was the first person, but symptoms were around, and it was kind of being shut down by the government to not get out that this was happening. And I get it. You don't want to cause a panic, but at the same time, I think their point was that the structure of the government being what it is and being a non-elected official means that if a thing breaks out in your county, your city, your province, you tell people there's this really contagious disease going on, I mean, you're sacked, basically. You don't have a chance. So best thing is to do, hide it, hope it blows over.
Let me tell you
one
something.
thing
The Chinese are more concerned about saving face than saving lives.
That's
I don't know.
basically the point.
The fact that, well, let's say that to it's a logical conclusion. They've said that we have this issue, this is what's going on. From what you've just said, they were not wanting to say that we have this issue, what's going on. The fact they have done it, therefore, precludes everything you said beforehand.
I don't think so. I think it blew out of proportion.
You don't think so?
And
one thing
we're talking about China.
Okay, let's
China
hear
controls...
from Here's from Pascal a second.
Oh,
yeah, well, one thing you definitely shouldn't do in these kinds of situations is find yourself a hazmat suit and start banging on doors asking people for samples of their drinking water. Don't do that. That would be bad.
If you imagine the one thing that if you do have some sort of epidemic going on in that area, the worst thing you can do is have... Sean, come on, mate.
I'm sorry,
your interruption chip keeps on kicking in. You need to,
Robin,
you need to bring that down a bit.
I don't normally get really, really annoyed.
I know. So
You
take
just
a breath.
get annoyed when I get on here.
Take a breath. I was just saying, if you can imagine the idea of if you do have some sort of disease where people moving around will spread it around more, the last thing you want to do is say to a bunch of people, "Oh yeah, there's probably some nasty disease around here," and then everyone fucks off, because then what happens is that spreads it even further. You want it contained. So if you've got a bunch of people that could be infected by that, they're going to get infected anyway. You don't want them moving from city to city, going to see their auntie and kind of going, "Oh, thank God I got out of that." And they're like, "Have you got a cold?" "Nah, it's fine."
So I'm going for THAC.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
But I don't know how one would address the response. Like, it blew over, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily, there's either cause a panic and don't and report it, or don't cause a panic and don't report it. I don't know if there's I
suspect there's parameters of damning here, if you will. You're going to be damned if you don't do it in one way, and you're going to be damned if you don't do it in another way. You could basically, cordon off the whole area, tell the whole world and everything like that. Great, as long as you got all your men together, you got all your ducks in a row, you're ready to fucking go with that shit. But that could take you days to actually organize all those people to be able to do any of that.
My guess is that these individuals have been in the business long enough and have developed protocols that are extensive enough that throughout history have been tested to the point where they can actually implement these things and have effective results to sort of minimize the amount of damage viral infection can have.
My only question is, then why would they hold a banquet with the knowledge that this is going around?
Or we could just go with Rick's idea, or maybe it's not that bad. Let's not fall for worst case scenarios, BS conspiracy theories.
Yeah, Ebola again.
Well, I mean, were there any signs of that manifesting at the time this banquet? I'm not familiar with this banquet.
I need to be more informed on it, but I wouldn't. I guess it is a bit of bias that I wouldn't put it past the Chinese government to do something such as that.
But to what end is the issue? The thing is that when somebody does something that on the sly, they're usually doing it for a reason that's for personal profit of some fashion. So you've got to ask yourself, what the fuck?
For the Chinese government, or at least their officials, to hold a banquet there, because within Chinese philosophy, or at least their government, one of the main priorities is always maintaining social harmony, especially for a government that seeks to justify its own existence. And I mean, if you've read Confucius philosophy, maintaining social harmony is incredibly important. So holding a banquet to give the air that everything is fine is certainly lies much more in something that they would do just continually.
Yeah. It doesn't sound nefarious at that point, does it? Really, though. Do you know what I mean?
It sounds. To me, it sounds incompetent frankly. I'm not of the belief that government structures that aren't at least have some amount of public accountability will be able to handle big issues like these, or at least stop them in the first place.
Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
No, mate, I don't share screens on here or anything like that, for obvious reasons.
Oi, I have no idea what just happened. I just crashed my desktop.
So Ontario's chief medical officer is making an announcement, and I think it's in relation to it being present in Canada as well.
Yay! Welcome to the club.
Fuck.
Pretty much anyone with an airport, guys. You know.
Yeah. Alejandro, you mentioned Ebola virus. Yeah, I remember that. I remember a comedian actually comparing the news between the UK and the US, because UK news, it's just simply saying the Ebola virus has spread across the nation and go through the process of the Ebola virus, but then you have your news as Ebola virus is trying to kill you.
Yeah, Ontario officials say there's a presumptive positive test result for the coronavirus in Toronto. A man in 50s had traveled to Wuhan, China, and felt ill on his return to Canada. He's now in stable condition in Sunnybrook Hospital.
Yeah, the Chinese New Year is going to be bad.
That's the thing with this disease. It's not even that it's that the only thing that it has a 2-week incubation period. That's the real kicker.
From what I've understood, one of the first people to actually contract this did survive and has been released. So this isn't something that will kill everybody, but obviously it's going to attack some people who aren't really built for the task.
Mostly elderly, young people, and people with immunodeficiency.
The weak.
I had swine flu when it broke out, so
it's going to do what all illnesses do, which is infect people.
Jesus Christ!
That's all it is. I'm sorry.
Are you saying that an infection?
The Black Plague.
It's an infection.
An infection will infect people.
The Black Plague infected people. That's correct.
Yeah. And
can I ask you a question? When did you get Sean? When did you get your doctorate from the University of pointing out the fucking obvious?
When did I work for many years in a hospital where I have captured,
was that nursing 101? Be careful of infections because they infect. Hence the name infection.
Yeah.
And you went, Jesus Christ, this is a revelation. I best hold on to this information for later.
But if you want to jump,
somebody might want to know.
I wish they did infect.
How many people died of NH? Oh, what we on about again? NH5.
N18. N1H1 is it's a related.
N1H1. That's SARS, right?
What that? I think that was bird flu.
Yeah. Now you're understanding what I'm saying. We have SARS, we have MARS, we have every single. You don't know them, do you?
You're just putting random
SARS?
Words into the sky at the moment.
Do you remember SARS?
We're talking about Mars now.
Do you remember
MERS or Mars is an acronym for one of those related.
I'm trying to take the piss out of him. Do you mind?
Yes, I know you are, and I'm trying to remember what the acronym stood for.
I thought you were going to start. There's SARS, there's Mars, there's Pluto. Oh no, that's been kicked off.
No, Pluto's back again.
That's now
fever.
Yeah, that's now considered a venereal disease.
Pluto?
Yeah, it's quite close to Uranus. Boom! Yay! I got a Uranus joke in. I feel so dirty now.
You're such a childish fucker. Jesus Christ.
Robin, you're not exactly the greatest medical expert. You thought autism was a mental illness last week.
Well, look, mate. I've met a lot of people with autism, and it has moved the needle for me.
Let's be fair. I mean, autism is a mental illness.
It's more
illness is not the correct word.
Come on, mate. It's a learning disability, and yes, people also can develop mental illness as a result.
the worst bit of
It's not an infection,
Bueno,
which could be worse.
it's not an illness.
Yeah.
If autism was an infection, oh man.
Then that would
Okay.
explain 8chan.
They would explain vaccines.
Okay, mate, I actually have Asperger's syndrome, so think about it.
And
We're still
do
going
you
to take the
want
piss out of you.
treatment? Well, let us work on it, because if you want treatment, therefore it's an illness.
Yeah, but
If
you
it's
remember.
an illness, therefore.
Hey,
we
dude,
need
I already
treat-
take the piss out the blind guy. Do you think you're going to escape this?
No.
It's
But
not going to happen.
Sorry, it's just I keep thinking about why I was bringing it up last week because of Greta Thunberg and all that.
Yeah,
you found
but you're
it.
going to have to grow a thicker skin on that sort of front, I'm afraid. This is the internet. Vaccine
That's a
says
thumb.
that
Do you
yes.
mind if I do you mind if I don't restream on Twitch anymore? Because I kind of got a bit.
We are that bad.
It doesn't really
No,
affect
no,
me. So
My
yeah.
desktop just crashed on me. It just randomly.
It's not working out well for you. Dude.
Robin, you're that shit.
No,
that even-
no,
he's
look, I'm
not.
running a professional sort of stream here, and like you've just got all these people like
when?
failing in the background. Delay is so big.
By the way,
you
all
can't
the
chat on here
people,
that-
all them people
Oh, sorry about
migrated
the
to your
state,
stream
that's-
anyway.
Yeah,
all the people
exactly.
migrated to
Well,
your
they,
stream,
they
so-
want better visuals.
Exactly. That's actually what someone said in the chat.
Yeah, and you've actually got 17 people watching now, Robin.
Yeah, I was trying to.
He means
Oh my
go-
god.
Let's make this a mainstay. I'll come on every weekend if you want. Let me see how. Let's do this every weekend.
Yeah, we should.
I'll try to be here
We
every
can always do
Saturday.
this.
Well, Robin would do, but he keeps pissing off.
Well, no, I sometimes work.
He
I have
has
things
this
to do.
weird, stupid idea that, ooh, I've got to work, so forget my
Most of-
mate.
You guys
Stop
argue like an old
people
couple.
care about
No,
me.
he argues like an
I
old
don't
couple.
give a shit
I have to make a living. I have to
them.
eat. I have to use the
Yeah.
toilet. I have to go to the dentist.
I have to breathe.
Not the last one, but
I don't know if
Oh,
Yeah, I
Ooh,
know
that was a
exactly,
low
mate.
one, wasn't it?
I wouldn't breathe.
that's a very
fucking
American
either.
thing, Kraut.
This is what happens when you meet
I
your
wouldn't
heroes.
even breathe
folks.
in front of you.
well
Beforehand,
speaking
I
of-
admired
honest,
Sean from afar,
if you did,
and then I
Robin
let
would
him on.
Pull out the camera and then turn around and go, "No, I need to put some more lights on this, so you breathe away." And
I can't be listening to
how
this and
many
be sober.
years
Hold
have
on.
we known each other now? Is it 5?
When did
a lot of-
we meet, Kraut?
Full ten.
I came
No,
on your
really
channel
early.
once, didn't I? When we were taking the piss out
Yeah.
of pretty much everybody, including your fans. Your fans really hated
Pascal-
me, didn't they?
Pascal and I used to be enemies as well at
Yeah.
one point.
You used to bring
Well,
you used to bring me on because I pissed off most of your audience, wasn't it?
Juicy
Well, now my audience doesn't know who you are, which is
Oh.
great.
Yeah. Who are you?
So they can know you as you are.
I
not just
am.
because of
I
something.
am. I've been described as the internet's disappointed dad.
Well, Kraut, you and Pascal were enemies online. Woo.
Online enemies.
I never
That's
considered
the
We
worst
might
kind.
still hate each other.
They
I
looked at
never
each other
considered you
across
an
the
enemy. It was
screen.
more or less just like you. I think it was like called me out for being a Destiny fan or something like that, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that Destiny was a sacrilege for a very long time.
He still is. He loves.
And Destiny rewarded me by giving me his creepy stalker.
He not only loves Destiny. I mean, he's actually Sargon's love child.
Kraut. I was the one who messaged you regarding South and Central America.
Oh,
What, you invaded?
I'm already gathering my research on that video. I'm gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna start with a video on Mexico. A shorter one.
That's awesome.
I'll just get out war in Poland. You'll sort everything out.
"That's
I've
great."
been well, so I think I sent you a message in Twitch. You actually kind of got me to start a project of my own working where I'm just going to probably put together video essays on the history of Nicaragua because, well, that's what I'm looking to. Ideally, I would like to serve in the foreign service down there. Where
I found very little available online in terms of the historical nature of what happened in South America overall. So having like, specific historical accounts of like Nicaragua and Mexico would be really cool.
Yeah, I looking into it. So I actually used to live in the country, and my father is from there, and what inspired me really was the current political crisis to start getting involved in researching history and geopolitics. But beyond that, you're gonna have to like go pretty deep for some South America stuff, because there's no real comprehensive book on any countries that I've looked at, which are like Honduras and Nicaragua. You have to look at own records and old intervention stuff. And
I'm going to look something up for you guys.
Well,
the reason why there's so little to read on Latin American history is because, unfortunately, most Latin American historians are Latin American, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise. And few of them are ever translated into English. But fortunately for you guys, the guy who's considered to be the best historian on Latin America is Studio Halperin. You may have heard of him. I'm going to post his name here so you can search him up himself. He's an Argentine historian, and he wrote a book, which is a summary book, a very heavy academic work, called The Contemporary History of Latin America. If you want to have a great summary, buy that book.
I do speak and read Spanish, so actually, that's a good point. I should look up Spanish sources as well.
But he wrote some excellent works, but he's mainly focused in Argentina. But this book is great in general.
Chat says, why make video about modern Poland? It's just Hungary to Electric Boogaloo.
No, I wouldn't say that it is Hungary, because there's quite a few differences there. I mean, you can't really compare the way Orban acts and the way the Polish parliament acts. There is still viable opposition in Poland, unlike in Hungary.
Could I ask you a question?
Sorry.
You're Polish, Francis?
No, I'm Slovak, but I'm part of the Hungarian minority.
Oh, okay. Fuck. You saying no to that question made me forget my question. Excuse me.
The reason I'm so interested in Latin America is because right now, in terms of like where we are, we have North America, we have South America, and we trade mostly with people we're closest to. And having an understanding of history there might allow us to basically be able to help bring them to just sort of
the Panama Canal is one of the key moments there. The Panama Canal is one of the key moments there because it basically cut through it and made South America irrelevant. You don't need to sail around South America to get from the Pacific to Europe or the East Coast of the United States anymore. So it cut South America mainly out of the picture. And there are a few ships.
There are a few ships that they can't anymore go through the Panama Canal because they made them so big that it doesn't fit there. They are called the Panama Max ships. Those which are bigger can't go through.
Speaking of the canal, well, actually, the canal was very important. In fact, yeah, that's really hugely important. But there have been failed attempts in Nicaragua to create a canal across the river Nicaragua, which... go ahead.
I'm just going to DM this. I don't know if I DM it to Robin or to Pascal. It's a map. It's a map. This is part of my research on the videos on Latin America that I'm going to make in the near future, and it's a really great map. It's just one image, and when you see it, it explains so much. But I'm not going to spoil what it is. I'm just going to send.
Could you send it into Google Hangout chat?
Yeah, Robin can put it on screen. Look at this map, and once you see it, it explains so much. Once you see it, it's from a book that I was reading. Just gonna wait. I sent it via Discord.
Okay, I've just got to add that into my images library. One
Is
sec.
there?
No problem.
How much of that is the UK? Basically, it's a format of, or another form of Britain just fucks up the world.
It's not Britain. No, it's not
Latin
Britain.
America?
It's
For
nobody's.
a change.
No. It's like really. Just wait and see the picture. It's
Well,
really
I
nobody's
don't
fault.
want to sound funny, mate, but all I got was linked to an Amazon channel.
If it's
Like,
gonna take a while, I can.
Equally, I can't remember which one said it, but mentioned about how we trade with our closest nations. Oh, you don't say. Like, that's why Brexit was a bad idea.
Seriously, it doesn't even have anything to do with human interaction. It's really. It's something you might not expect. For me, it was very eye-opening when I first saw it. I'm just waiting until the picture turns.
Robin,
One
get this
second.
pick up.
One
No worries.
second. There's just somebody
Take your
asking me
time.
to come on the show, but they haven't followed me yet. Where did you DM this to me, mate?
Discord.
All right. Okay. Discord.
Already got 10 people.
Nicaragua. It's bordering Honduras and right near
I
El
want to see
Salvador.
this. I want to see this picture.
What's the economic situation in Nicaragua right now?
In Nicaragua, well, my
Yes.
father. Wait, am I muted? No, I'm not. My father
you're
lives
fine.
there, and well, I don't know too much about the current economic situation, like in terms of exports, imports, or whatever. But I know that it crashed really badly in 2018. It's returned to normalcy, but it's still very, very difficult to make a living. Harder than it was back then. It was actually one of the safest countries in Latin America before that.
And that seems to be like a going trend. It's something that's been happening with various different areas of Latin America. Like they see prosperity, and then there's a period of downfall.
Well, it wasn't some. I lived there from the period before Ortega, which is the current dictator, you could say, was elected in 2007. I lived there. I actually left that year, and yeah, you could make a living. My father owned and still owns a well drilling business down there. It still was difficult for a lot of people. A lot of typical pitfalls: the lack of infrastructure in a lot of areas, poor education in a lot of areas, and I guess lack of social movements to change much of that. But I wouldn't say the economic growth that Nicaragua experienced under Ortega was really all that beneficial for most of the people in the country. He increased the country's GDP by mostly just creating extractive institutions for his own pockets and a lot of deficit spending to prop up these industries.
That's unfortunate. Was there any aid from the United States or North America?
I mean, I believe Nicaragua received aid in some form or another. I don't know in particular.
Robin,
that's
if
what I'm
there's a
sort of.
problem-
One sec.
If there's a problem, I could share my screen too, if that's
There we go.
fine with you.
That's what I'm sort of
Yeah.
curious about. Is if the United States and Canada started investing in these areas and assisted, not with the ultimatums and coup d'états, but just
Yeah, I'd say go for it. The thing about the current situation in Nicaragua, particularly for me, is that it's connected heavily to the Sandinista, the Iran-Contra affair.
Okay. Do you see the picture? The picture is on the stream, but it's not visible here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share my screen, so the people here can see it too.
Yeah, regarding the Iran-Contra affair, so it has heavily to do because Ortega was one of the he was a big-time person in the Sandinista revolution. I mean, big time. He was one of the people who led it. And it's not really surprising that the Sandinistas have kind of seemed to consistently not be in favor of democratization or allowing free press, even when they're elected themselves.
For some reason, I can't.
Yeah, I think Robin doesn't allow screen sharing. I myself actually.
You can share screens between yourselves. It's just nobody can see it coming up.
I just don't know what's going on here. Wait, I can. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Everyone in the audience can see it anyway.
You should be able to see it if you're watching the YouTube channel by now.
I'm going to copy a link and post it here in the side chat. Do you guys see this map? Pascal and Alejandro in particular. Do you see this map?
Yes. No way.
So, what do you think is this? What do you think is this?
This must have been beef. It looks like sea level rise.
It's a current. No. It's a current map. It's a very interesting map.
Impassable areas.
I don't see the map.
Yes, this is. It cuts out the lands where it's not possible to live, or to conduct profitable or sustainable agriculture.
Yeah.
And this map explains so much because it shows you the barriers. But it's not people that fuck things up in many ways. It's geography.
That's a
you have
hardcore
this
trade area.
impossible place to build infrastructure around, which is why so much of the economy and the infrastructure is heavily focused on this corridor in the southeastern west. No, the southeastern tip, where Uruguay, Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina meet in this corridor as well. Look at Chile. Chile's economy is basically Chile's economy is basically built around just exporting things to the United States because it has no other choice, because the mountains separate it so hard from the rest of South America. So one of the big problems and challenges, look at Venezuela. Venezuela is economically basically built, geographically built to integrate with the United States economy rather than the South American economy. And of course, when it is disintegrated from the American economy, it collapses every single time. So it's a very difficult to integrate place. What the South Americans probably need more than anything else, if you look at this, is a proper infrastructure integration. Highways, rail networks, tunnels, stuff like that. But they don't have the capital to build it. Nobody from the outside is coming to invest in it. So they're left with a disintegrated mess where they all end up looking for external partners to build their own economies.
No, I mean, you don't want a country like China to start building infrastructure down there if they get the inkling to do.
Happened in Nicaragua.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
there you
you
go.
see a lot of bridges built by Chinese and actually some Japanese. But yeah, definitely would require some kind of huge investment. That's really enlightening.
The agriculture thing is also, like the book I'm currently reading, there's this massive chapter on agriculture. Now, the southern end of South America, in particular Argentina, is blessed with these vast fields of fertile lands in which agriculture can be conducted in a profitable way because it is very fertile soil. But a problem that Brazil, for example, has is that most of the arable land is jungle. And here's something that a lot of people don't know about jungle. If you mow down the jungle, right, cut down all the trees and then plant cash crops on that land, it requires a high intensity agriculture because jungle ecosystems are heavily recycled ecosystems. The leaves, the wood, and everything that dies is immediately recycled, which means you have a thin layer of fertile soil underneath which you will have nothing. So if you chop down all the trees, you will end up with a wasteland on which you have to dump tons of fertilizer to get anything out of it, which is the reason, by the way, why you have so many tropical countries with so many plantations producing so much things, which, however, are still dirt poor. The reason being that much of the money they make by selling their produce has to be reinvested in fertilizer to actually grow anything. So by doing this agricultural push into the rainforest, Brazil is actually fucking itself, making itself poorer in the process.
But it's
because
temporarily better off.
It's temporarily, but it's investing into a long-term economy of poverty.
What about the cocaine industry?
The drug stuff is
great.
Mexican. The drug stuff is mainly a Mexican thing. That's mainly a Mexican thing now.
Well, they're right next to the biggest drug market, so that, of course, they're gonna start in Mexico.
Something else that I didn't know is, besides the Amazon, there's not a single navigable river in the entire South American continent.
Well,
and navigable rivers, not ocean-going navigable, meaning a ship that you could sail up.
I see. Not counting
these
central?
are important. These are really important for an economy because they're basically free infrastructure for which a country doesn't have to pay. The United States, in comparison, has 5,000 miles
the Mississippi
of navigable riverways. Yeah, exactly. So it's an enormous benefit for a country. So in terms of the country, yes, there are US coups that took place, CIA fuck-ups in that place, but you should never forget that this is even geographically an extremely difficult place. Geography in this location basically works against wealth. There's a geographic challenge that the South Americans have to overcome somehow.
Well, one of the
interject.
places. Yeah, you go ahead.
With the navigable river things, Crowd, have you noticed Brazil's river network? That's unique about it.
I said it's the only navigable river, but it leads into nothing. It leads into no economic basin. You know, it leads into jungle where there is nothing to grow unless you go with high intensity cash crops that only produce a temporary wealth and then are an investment into long-term poverty economies. So the Amazon as a navigable river is unfortunately useless.
Isn't how it's called, the river in Argentina also navigable?
Not for ocean-going vessels. You can't sail up that river. I forgot its name. You can't sail up that river with a sea barge or with a container ship.
It's simply too shallow to be able to afford those sort of boats going up there. So as far as delivering goods back and forth up and down that river, it's useless for the job.
There's also something else that
you need
there's
tidal rivers.
Also something else that needs to be pointed out. People like to point on at road networks that were built during the Spanish colonial era, right? It's similar to how some apologists for British colonialism like to point at rail networks in Africa and say that, oh, at least we built the railroads. Well, the thing about these colonial infrastructure projects is they usually lead from a resource to a harbor, meaning they lead, for example, from a mine to the harbor. And that's actually bad because it furthers an external integration. It furthers an economy where you take the resources, bring them to the harbor without using them yourselves and then shipping them off for cheap sale on cheap markets. While it is in fact better for an internal integration to have an infrastructure network, a railroad system that would internally allow you to ship and transport resource around your country.
Well, this is coming back from the old colonial days. You see,
The
of course,
better-
we're
better-
outsourced. We've outsourced all of our primary industry to these countries, but not outsourced that, like, say, secondary.
It's not
or
as
tertiary.
prevalent in South America. It's not as prevalent in South America. It does matter in places like Peru, but it's more prevalent in Africa. But it's still there's a lot of problems in this place. But the point I was trying to show with this map is a lot of it is geographic challenges that these countries have yet to overcome. Except for Uruguay, is the one big exception. Uruguay has everything going for it, geographically speaking. It's in a basin, nice river access, nice ocean access, fertile soil. Uruguay is really well off.
And
but from what the article I posted, it shows that the Parana River is actually navigable by ocean faring vessels.
Well, then I have to check up the book again because it says that only the Amazon is navigable by ocean. I have to check out. Maybe I read something wrong.
One of the reasons why I brought up the sort of drug trade over there, because it sort of falls in line to what you're saying in terms of like exports and the like, because I mean that was one of the huge exports that helped, well, quote unquote helped the economy of the time. I mean, you look at what happened in Colombia with Pablo Escobar, right? You had a government that was literally being outmatched by a financial empire, which was entirely...
Here's the thing, Pascal. Drug cartels don't build railroads. They don't build highways. They don't build this enormous infrastructure that these places really need. Especially Mexico really needs highways. It doesn't have a proper highway system.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I'm saying is that, like, how do you have a Colombian government compete with an empire that is financially more solvent than itself? I mean, they were literally like burying millions of dollars in the middle of nowhere. The amount of money they were pulling in.
Yeah, that's one of the few capital flows that they had. But like I said, it's capital from drug cartels.
It's like imagine having the United States, and within the United States you had a larger organization that was a lot more organized, that had a lot.
Oh, you mean that aspect?
Funding.
Oh, that, yeah. I would have to show you a map of Mexico, a geographic map, but let me just Google a geographic map of Mexico.
I'm just going to come in and say, hello, TyTube.
Hello, TyTube.
Okay, something interesting about the Parana River. The one we talked about is navigable. The US sent a gunboat up until to the capital of Paraguay once, up the upstream up to the capital of Paraguay.
Like
so it's definitely navigable.
So here's a geographic map of Mexico for you. Look at it, and what do you see, Pascal? When you look at this, this is purely geographic features. What's one of the first things you notice?
There's a huge mountain range in the middle.
Yeah, that's
exactly. It's nothing but mountains. When the Americans rolled in to take Texas from the Mexicans, they took exactly everything except they stopped right at the mountains. So they would have a nice clean buffer. And that's the biggest problem that Mexico has, is that the entire country, the north is highlands, the south is jungle.
Same as Italy, actually. Same as Italy. We have a lot of mountains over here. It takes a lot to cross.
So the thing about mountains is they are really great to hide in. They're really great to recuse yourself. Like, you can go to Europe and the Middle East and you will notice the places that have mountains are the places where people hide off and create off-capsuled, independent social structures built around clans in villages. Like the retro-romantic in Switzerland. Switzerland in general is a good example. It's a recluse where people just cut themselves off from the rest of Europe. The Basque country, the most oldest language and culture in Europe, lived high up in the mountains where nobody bothered them. They could hide in the mountains. And Mexico has this problem where it is internally very disintegrated. If you go out into the mountains, you might as well, you don't need to care what Mexico City has to say. You don't need to care what the capital says. It's an ideal place for separatists, for terrorist organizations, and also for drug cartels, because you can just hide in the mountains and do whatever the fuck you want. The Mexican highlands is something that Pablo Escobar could only dream of. You can literally just disappear in the mountains and do whatever you want. So this landscape is also conducive for this kind of drug economy.
Carl, would you say the same? Would you say the same about Italy? You know, we have a lot of mountain ranges over here. It's very hard to cross.
It's one mountain range that goes through the country with not many people living in it. All it does is separate it in east and west, but nobody actually lives in the mountains. Where in Mexico, the people live in the mountains.
By the way, guys,
I mean, look at Mexico City. It's literally in the mountains.
just to update you, the China death toll has risen to 54 now. More than 300 new cases.
Yeah.
Confirmed cases. Those are the official
they're definitely like covering up. Apparently there are reports of thousands of people being taken into hospitals.
Yeah, there's
By the way,
if you look
hello,
on Chinese
Tai Chi.
social media, you'll
Hello.
see.
Yes, I thought I'd greet you.
Should I introduce myself?
Well, you sound like you've got a lovely compressor mic, although you're compressing a bit much.
Yeah, sorry, this is my headphone mic because it's
it's a good
like
headphone
really
mic. It's pretty good.
Thanks. But yeah, so I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm one of Kraut's slot. Kraut's bitches basically. I grew up with the whole sort of cultural thing. I remember the whole 2016 election and hate and social justice warriors.
Have you got a
Kekistani
tattoo?
As great as I actually got to head out for a bit.
Okay, mate.
Have a good day, man.
Much love to you.
too.
So,
but yeah,
Taitu, I think this is an important question. Do you know who Thargon is?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I know who he is, and unfortunately, I actually subscribed to him. I actually thought he was like, I can't believe,
Yes. Well, apparently his actual academic achievements aren't really that great. Apparently, he got below the national average in his grades in high school. I'm assuming that means
Really?
he's A levels.
Yeah.
And his actual course, actually, he did 3 courses at university, and he failed 2 of them. One of them was general studies.
How can you fail
really?
general studies?
How can you fail general studies?
Just turn up.
Not physically possible.
You just got to attend assembly.
I don't go to any general studies classes, and I still pass.
Oh dear.
It's amazing. Well, this just goes to show you, if they say, I know a few big words and they have a nice sound, they're well spoken, anyone thinks you're intelligent.
He's all he is basically Jeremy Clarkson without the class.
Jeremy Clarkson's actually funny.
Yeah,
hey, we got someone else.
I'd say Carl is sort of like a motif of a certain breed of people out there that found.
Who is this?
That he stands for UKIP says everything.
Yeah, they just found out that when you're laughing and everyone around you feels awkward, that's comedy.
Yeah,
you know, it's really, and I was trying to sort of get this into a sentence, but it's really a phrase more than anything else. It's people that have been so idiotic but not had the consequences of their idiocy sort of come home to them enough that they've actually confused it as a talent.
It's what man-childs.
You know?
Like people who, man-childs, people who haven't matured at all, like emotionally.
Arrested development, in a nutshell, yeah.
Also, can I just bring up a different topic, like totally off topic for the conversation?
You're in the right place for that sort of thing, mate.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I do, because it's my last year of school, the British guys will know it's year 13. I do a thing called the Holocaust Educational Trust, and so I've been to Auschwitz, and they've taken me to Auschwitz, and then tomorrow, because Monday's Holocaust Memorial Day, I've got to do a whole school assembly on the Holocaust. And I was on the train home from London. I was reading up about anti-Semitism in like the modern world. And it's so depressing. I genuinely, like, part of me just wanted to. There was this Holocaust survivor in Sweden who wasn't invited to schools because they were worried certain. Well, it said on the Wikipedia page it was because they were majority Muslim. I don't know if that's the case. Yeah, because they didn't want to. And then Norway, apparently there were these kids who were descended from Middle Eastern parents, but they were raised in Norway. They were expressing views like the Holocaust didn't happen. If the Holocaust happened, they deserved it. And I seriously, like, I know a Norwegian guy who is Turkish, but
sorry, guys,
like,
I have to go.
Okay then, mate. Take it easy.
On short notice.
Right,
I'll be back in the stream next week again.
No worries.
See you later.
See you soon. Carry on.
But yeah, so I know a Norwegian guy who's Turkish, but he didn't seem like they seem like all the Norwegians I know. They seem like like British people, like normal people, and it's just like the idea that someone could suggest that the Holocaust didn't happen. Like, I've met the survivors, I've seen Auschwitz, I've been in a gas chamber. Like the idea that someone can stand there and say this didn't happen.
Well,
like,
this is the thing, you see, is that what happens is that we get things like stuff like the mainstream media lies, or we get things like the government lies. The institutions lie. These people are lying to us. Once you've undermined that trust, then all things that we hold to be true are now questionable.
Yeah.
No matter how ridiculous. In fact, the more ridiculous, the more ridiculous it is. The more ridiculous it is, the more alluring it is to put yourself into this state of mind where you know something that the normies don't.
Yeah. I guess, but it is important to sort of question, because there have been times where the mainstream media has been like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like with PewDiePie and stuff like that. They have sort of spun a certain story, but it's
not like he didn't help.
And question.
This is the thing. It's not like the guy didn't fucking help with that one.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like talk about being completely tone deaf. Hello, Arthur. Yeah. Greetings.
Greetings. Sorry for pinging you around. Sorry to interrupt. I actually wanted to add to the debate about the topics on the South America, because actually there is a thing like as Kraut says that the problem about the forest, like he said, it only applies to the biome of the Amazon, and the Amazon is actually not the total. It's not like Brazil is a very big country. It's not formed just by one biome. It's formed like for 5-6 different biomes, which allow us to have a large diversity of species and to us to develop a lot of agriculture.
What he means by biome is probably the best way to describe it. Make it well, just for anybody who doesn't know, sort of like an ecological pocket, if you will.
Yes. For example, well, the only biome which is actually suffered a lot, that has almost disappeared, is the Atlantic forest, which I don't know how to. I'm just assuming that is the name in English, but it's like the what was and what is still part of the most of the coast. So because this biome goes from São Paulo, which is the southeast, to almost the northern coast, all the way to the coast, as he goes from all these different latitudes. So like each latitude would be very different, because of the temperature and climate. Like the temperature would vary, and then you could have a lot of variety in the middle of this, and we like have a similar biome to what you find in Argentina, northern Argentina and Uruguay, which is just these fields we call pampas.
Are you like a climatologist or something? You seem to know quite a lot about this particular thing.
No, that's just common knowledge, actually. Yes, I would add, I'm not a specialist. I'm a bit more knowledgeable than the average in this, because I have like high school technical education, college and stuff, but I'm no specialist. But since like everything South America is very hard to you guys to get, actually, I think, if I might say so. So it's like that's the thing you learn in like high school. Brazil is actually a very big country. To say that Brazil is only the Amazon is very lazy. It's a very lazy assumption. And we have like a large variety in the whole country.
Variety was that?
Yeah, evaluating biomes, species, temperatures, cultures, economics in general too. So we actually have a quite big and somewhat sustainable agriculture in the center east region and the south region. So those parts, which is the most part that we use to agriculture, do not have the problem that Kraut has pointed out.
What you're talking
That's
about
just
having to
applied.
basically clear a lot of forest land in order to grow crops, and then basically
Yeah,
that
we
crop
have
area is
this-
useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this in the Amazon. So like, there are two groups generally that do this. People who are doing that legally in their own property that live in the region. It just happened that they burn it, but in their own property it grows again. But because they use the island for not for agriculture, I forgot the name. To cattle. But
Cattle
and
grazing.
then the legal, yes, and there are the legal ones that take that has the same goal, but they want to do it illegal, to take the land illegally.
Yeah, Robin, by the way, I'm gonna go to...
Okay then, mate.
I'll see you next week, maybe.
No worries, mate. Take it easy. Have a
So,
good
yeah.
night.
Night.
Yeah, because I remember watching.
Yeah, carry on, Ty.
Yeah, it's me. So
Carry on, Ty.
Just like there is a lot of things happening. There's like, and to everyone who is outside, it doesn't seem like that. But there are a lot of things happening here.
Because I remember watching. Sorry.
No, Ty, carry on, please,
No.
mate. Carry on.
Sorry.
No,
Go on. Tube Ty. Go for it.
me,
It's
sorry,
your
sorry.
go, mate. I'm calling you
yeah.
Ty.
Thank
That
you.
guy's
Sorry,
Arthur.
Okay,
So,
cool.
not even
Sorry.
close.
I'm tired. Yeah, I remember watching because we had to do the Brazilian rainforest for Griffey, and there was this thing about sustainable farming where they sort of like they'd grow. Say if the guy was like a banana farmer, like they'd grow the banana, they keep the rainforest mostly the same, except they'd grow the banana tree and then pick the bananas. But the only thing was that it's just not efficient. It just needs to be more efficient. Sustainable farming doesn't have the sort of the sheer output that sort of either economically or in sheer sort of produce.
Well, that's actually more down to us than anything else. I mean, if you have a look at, say, bananas, for example, as like buying a banana. So I buy a banana and it's 17 pence. And this is a thing that's travelled across the Atlantic fucking ocean to get to me. And it's more expensive to me than a fucking leek that's grown in bloody Wales.
Yeah, I know, but I suppose it's just that it's all the same with stuff like milk and everything. Did you hear about the farmers? This is a while back. The farmers were complaining about how the milk costs more to produce than they can actually sell it for the supermarkets in the first world countries. They drive down glasses. It's like an arm, like staple foods. If you have cheap staple foods, than your competitors.
They're called what's going on here is
we're on about loss leaders.
As far as the farmers themselves, that it's a bit of an underhanded sort of trick here, because what they're saying to you is the cost that you buy your milk at is less than it costs me to make the milk, and that's true. However, that price isn't being made up by the actual person making the milk. It's actually made up by the people buying the milk. They use milk as what they call a loss leader. And so what they're doing is that they're not making their money out of selling you milk. The milk is to get you in the store.
Mm-hmm.
The milk is to get you in the shop, because you're not just going to buy milk. You're going to buy bread. You're going to buy some fruit. You're going to buy this. You're going to buy that. Oh shit! Yeah, I should get some batteries. Dad wanted some for his thing. Crap like that. That's where they make their money. But with the milk, if you see, say, a farmer and he's pointing at a bottle of milk and he's saying, "Look at the price of that," He's saying, I can't even make
Yeah.
milk for that price. He's lying to you as a rhetorical
Yeah.
device in order to get Tesco's to give him more money for his milk. But
Cool.
they are actually
Okay,
paying
I
him
didn't know that,
more.
so-
Yeah, they're
yeah.
paying him more for the milk than they're actually charging you, the customer.
Mm.
But they're
Yeah.
they're taking that loss themselves in order to encourage you to come into their store.
Mm.
So it's not
Yeah.
quite.
Okay.
It's not quite
Not
that
as
way. Otherwise,
bad.
that farmer would
Yeah.
already be dead. He would have already committed suicide at this point. If he's
Yeah.
like making milk at such a loss, and Tesco's kind of go, no, I want
Yeah.
to buy it even cheaper than you can make it. Well, it's like, well, fuck off.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It was just like an example of how supermarkets are like in almost an arms race to sort of get prices down rock bottom. So they're always gonna, unless they're sort of Waitrose or M&S who can afford, because they've got a different base to say Tesco's, because Waitrose and M&S are for people the upper middle class people who are willing to pay an extra 50p for
Just so they don't
fair
shop with the
trade.
proletariat.
No, they're
Yeah,
quite
basically.
happy to pay out for the.
This person isn't wearing
extra.
navy. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
If you're prepared to pay the extra, I just happen to have kumquats that are really soft. Oh, that's all my kumquats that are really soft. They don't give a shit.
He's obviously
His shop off.
absolute tits right now.
Kumquat.
Keep your hands on my kumquats.
And
Welcome
Tesco's
back, Alejandro.
probably-
Please.
Kumquat?
I don't know.
so if I may continue,
Yeah, go
if
for
I
it,
say
please.
what happened in Latin America now, if you don't, I'm imagining you have noticed the quite different turns that we have taken last year. So yeah, if I have no personal bias of this, but if you're gonna say if Brazil has a plan, we are not gonna use the Amazon for agriculture. If you have a plan for it, and our plan is to use it for mining, because it's much more economical, viable, and more sustainable than agriculture, if well made. So the first plan is to develop the region, because the general pollution and impact in nature happens because of the condition of the people living there. Because there are actually some quite millions Brazilians live there, and they do not have as much opportunity as they have as the rest of the country. And well, they try to do the living as they can. Most of them go fishing. It's not a very rich region, not because it's the lack of resources, because they actually has quite a lot of mineral resources there, including some Norwegian companies who have committed several environmental crimes there.
Norwegian companies.
Yes, there was that Hydro company. It has aluminium plant there, and has disposed that was a leak of aluminium on the river that actually fucked the whole region. It's a micro region that was there, because it kills the fish living in the water. It makes the water undrinkable for the populace that live there.
Can I just ask you what the name of that company was again?
North Hydro.
North Hydro.
Something like that. Yeah, it's one of those that is.
I'll ask some of my Norwegian friends, because some of them are quite environmentally conscientious. I'll ask if they know about this, and if not, hopefully they can do a bit of digging into it. I'm sorry to hear that.
Arthur, are you Brazilian?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Latin America is a crazy region. Lots going down there.
It's weird because technically it's the most peaceful continent in the world because it hadn't had a major war since like 1930. But at the same time,
I think it has the highest murder rate in the world. Though.
Yeah, but it's a totally bizarre sort of contradiction. Like Europe had like some of the most deadly wars in human history, and yet it's basically fine now. And yet Argentina has had very few wars, and yet it's, you know, not. No offense, Arthur, but not the best place in the entire world to live.
Argentina? Or Brazil?
What? No. If I'm gonna say Argentina is going downhill, it's like they have changed like the driver of the train, but he's just going faster to their doom.
No.
I think they are gonna have probably a crisis. It's gonna intensify so badly that's probably we're gonna have an immigrant crisis like we have in Venezuela. I think because
if
it's starting to go bad. If only they have like regional politicians, not Peronist ideologists.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't we all love a bit of that?
Don't we all love a bit of Peronism? Always work.
Well, everyone was getting
the last century.
Everyone was getting a bit bored, so they thought they'd, you know.
Yeah, because
I still find it hard to understand what Peronism is. Is it left wing, but it has elements of fascism, but it's weird because it never works, but everyone votes it in. So I'm just.
What
does it work?
Because it has a rhetoric.
You live in the UK, you
that
can't say anything anymore.
To whatever you want.
Yeah, because of Brexit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would anyone vote for this stupid idea? You know, this is the thing. I mean, I think
Dominic Cummings is a very clever man.
I would say this. You know, if Brexit is the solution, then it, you know, whatever the fucking question was, it was fucking stupid. That's all I can say. If Brexit is the answer, it was a really stupid question.
But do you even know what the question was?
Yeah, how can we fuck up this country as quickly as possible?
Are Traps gay? And then
as someone who's half Irish, Brexit makes me want to cry, and I'm fully expecting the North to catch fire again because at this point I'm just
Mate, on February 1st, there are going to be people with their windows smashed in because of the immigrants rather with their windows smashed in. You just know it.
Yeah, the IRA is basically really bad. They nearly blew up Glasgow. They nearly blew up Glasgow airport. And I mean, the idea of the North. I don't know what the North is going to do because I don't know if they're going to stay or they're going to.
Excuse me. Can you just repeat that? The IRA are going to do what?
I don't know what the IRA are going to do. That's the point, because they're not the provisionals, but they're a offshoot of the provisionals.
Well, I don't want to sound funny, mate, but I'll tell you what the IRA are more likely to do, and that's nothing. Because what were the IRA fighting for? An independent, or basically the South fucking off from the North.
Yeah, independent Ireland, right?
Picture on Google to match my counter.
What's more likely to happen is that the Ulster Unionists, the Ulster, or the UVF, UVA, and the UVF are going to go total. I mean, basically, we will be instead. With the Irish question, instead of fighting the IRA, who are nationalists, we'll be fighting
the loyalists.
The loyalists, precisely.
Remember, there was because I'm doing a project on Bloody Sunday, and I was speaking to
about it.
No. Well, I was speaking
to song.
No, I'm a former soldier. I have.
What regiment?
I'm ex-Remy.
Oh, you're Remy. This guy was he was not Green Jackets. He was ex Ulster Defence Regiment. So and he was, but he did. Well, I don't want to say too much because I've got to keep him anonymous. But
mate.
I've got to.
You can't. I don't want to that group anonymous, to be honest. Because
I signed a confidentiality agreement.
Okay, then stop talking. Just don't say anything. It's fine.
Don't say it. Nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that it was weird because it was the first time he's been to like Afghanistan and places like that, and he said it was weird because it was the first time that he'd ever been shot at by someone who was flying a Union Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I did a few tours in Northern Ireland. I went to some fun places. Crossmah Glen was one of the most. I'll be brutally honest. Crossmah Glen is one of the most loveliest towns you will ever visit.
See, this is the sort of thing a girl who's just found out that she's pregnant wants to hear. He just goes. He says to her boyfriend, "I'm pregnant," and he goes, "Huh, ma'am?" I said, "Huh? Hello, yo." And she goes, "Yes." Kill it. That's the first picture. She sends him picture of the clear blue saying pregnant, and it's next straight away. Kill it. Cool. Kill it dead. He's like showing pictures of him throwing 20s at her. Kill it. I don't wanna. Fetus deletus.
Oh God.
And is that Algenedro? Sorry, am I butchering that?
Alejandro.
Sorry. Yeah. This is basically there's do you know a lot about the Troubles? Do you know a lot about them?
And where?
In America.
In the United States?
Yeah.
A bit. I am.
There's a certain affiliation
American.
with the Americans to the Irish, you see.
Yeah.
I'm an American.
Yeah.
What about what's your question, I suppose?
Well, no, but do you
know about the Troubles?
Do you know about it, basically? Just in case you're like sitting here confused about what we're
You're talking about
British people and that running about.
In the 80s in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, you're talking about the IRA and I don't know most of. I've heard of Bloody Sunday. I don't know most of the history around it. But
I was just making sure you were like up to speed. I didn't want you to be sitting there.
No, you're good.
May I, for a point of reference?
Yeah.
Yes, I served within the British military.
Mm-hmm.
I am also of Irish Catholic extraction.
Interesting.
Precisely. I saw things that within the military that I objected to. I also looked at what was going on, and I mean, it is a very different. It's grotesque what happened over there.
Yeah.
The British Army went over into Northern Ireland because this is the funny bit. It's not funny, but bear with me. The British Army went over into Northern Ireland to protect the Roman Catholics against what was happening from the Protestants. And we were that unpleasant to the Roman Catholics that, well, bugger me, they got upset.
That's a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, well, I'm being... Yeah,
it's
a major understatement.
Yeah.
I've got to go, guys.
We were grotesque.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Yeah, I'll probably come on if you're still going.
Take care, Booker. We were grotesque over there. What we did... I mean, trust me, I have sat down and read a lot of stuff from what I did because of the time I served. For what it's worth, I served in I was in Belfast in 92. Sorry. Yeah, Belfast 92. Crossmah Glen was 94. And, I mean, seriously, Crossmah Glen, wonderful city. Sorry, town. Beautiful countryside. Don't go walking on your own.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is we've just hit the 4-hour mark, so I'm going to call this one a night. So you don't have to run.
Come back.
You don't have to run away. It's all right. I'm just closing the actual show so that I can stop the stream now.
Can you hear me, guys?
So,
what time do you hold this tomorrow next week?
I do this on Saturdays 8 till midnight.
8 to midnight,
that
right.
kind of thing.
Well,
So that's a
I might not go
reasonably
to the
good
pub
time
next
for
week then.
everybody, isn't it? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
You're
I'll say my
you're in
goodbyes
the
now.
England?
So yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Thanks to our newbies. Don't forget to sub. Slip us a couple of quid if you actually give a shit. So much love. Take it easy, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
No, we have to wait for the video to do the thing, and it's just going to do the close, and then it fades to black.
Yeah, I was just thinking I can't be staying up much longer. I'm knackered.
You guys are in England, I assume? That's 8 to midnight in England? Or
Can you
UK?
tell?
The UK?